10 hours of rabbis. Top ones saying, we haven't forgotten Rome destroying the temple, Titus in 70 AD, and you will be destroyed and nuked and burned to the ground. God's going to curse you. And these are prominent rabbis. 99% of Americans don't even know about Titus sacking your temple. Most people in America and stuff were Germans and French enslaved by the Romans too in England. Like, if you want to demonize the Romans all day, you're going to just say because we're the new Rome, we all deserve to die?
When the Messiah comes, Rome will be nothing!
Until then.
The Zohar says that they're going to go down hard for how they treated us over the last 2,000 years. For the destruction of the Second Temple and how they treated us, Hashem's going to take them down hard. He's going to humiliate them on the world stage. Western countries, Asaph, Edom. I'll take that one. That's what I want to see.
Meaning they're going to get killed in the end because God is going to go on the side of probably China, wipe out the whole West. Why? Because of the destruction of the Second Temple, which is still a debt they never paid, and because of the persecution. I mean, all that persecution the Jews have gone through is still a bill. It's still a bill that has to get paid by the West.
Hashem now is going to close the accounts with every person, every nation, every leader, everything. Now Hashem is paying the bills.
God will take revenge against all the Gentiles, descendants of Esau, what we call today Christians, for the Holocaust, for the Inquisitions, for the destruction of the temples, for many, many things that they still have an open bill. They still don't pay for it. Who is Esau? All the Europeans are children of Esau. Russia, France, England, French people, Danish people, Swedish people, Scandinavians, United States, all the Americans, not the blacks. The blacks came from Africa, from Ham. But all the white people in America are all children of Esau. Dutch, German, Irish, British, they are all from Esau.
And all those goyim who brought about so much pain and suffering on the Jewish people will be punished.
Jay Dyer's entire transcendental presuppositional argument is built on a foundation as solid as wet tissue paper. His core move is to assume that the Orthodox Christian God is the necessary grounding for logic.
Hashem will take all your filthy people, include your children, and destroy all of them for what you did, breaking his temple and killing his children. The Greeks, and after that the Romans, destroying us, destroying Bet HaMikdash, killing our children, throwing us out of Israel. We could not live in our own land. We didn't have a temple for 2,000 years. Anti-Semitism all over the world. Nobody ever left us alone. There wasn't a perfect salvation. But the final salvation, the third temple that we will be built, will never be destroyed again. And there will never be anti-Semitism. There will not be one anti-Semite Gentile remained in the world.
The only way any among the nations could be saved, now listen up, if that's you, is if they did not partake in the oppression of Israel. Anybody that takes a stance against Jews, they have very big problems, okay? And we will see them. It's going to be a public judgment.
For a day approaches, the day of Hashem approaches on all the nations of Edom. Precisely how they dealt with the Jewish population throughout history is precisely how they are going to themselves be treated in the end of days. And he gives this example of a giant goblet. And every time an Edomite nation caused pain against the Jewish people, the blood, so to speak, from that pain was extracted and dripped into this goblet. And then in the end of days, each nation will be forced to drink its goblet, and they will be destroyed exactly the way they tried to destroy the Jewish people. It says that they'll drink, they'll become consumed, and they'll be as if they never were.
There's going to be a huge destruction. It cannot be a new reality of the redemption without the destruction of the old reality. There's no such a thing. It's not going to overlap. It's going to you have to destroy one reality in order to go to the next reality. Besides the fact that I said it not once and not twice, there's prophecies, there's clear signs that that's it, America is done. It's time. The great United States of the great America is over, closing shop. Why? Because Mashiach has to come. That's it, Mamlechet Edom, the kingdom of Edom has to cease to exist. Edom, which is America, is going to be destroyed. There's a lot of prophecies, if you want to go just for two of them to see. One of them is in the book of Ovadia, chapter 1, and the other one is in the book of Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 49. You'll see the destruction of Edom. It says here that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will arise and will destroy completely the city of Edom and will completely uproot them.
The Romans were never destroyed because the Romans split up into many countries. Who is Rome today? Europe and the United States. Rabbis tell us that before Mashiach comes, there will be many wars. And these wars will eventually bring about the collapse of Edom.
The Mashiach will only come when the Roman Empire falls. What is the Roman Empire today? Christianity now. But what did Coke do? He now brings many Muslims, many, who conquer Europe, America and the other Christian countries without war until the entire Roman Empire falls by itself. And the Talmud says that if the Roman Empire falls, Mas will come to our time immediately.
All the European anti-Semites, Hashem sent them cancer to their countries, the Arabs. That's their cancer. They're taking over their countries, they're occupying the streets, they intimidate them, they destroy them, there's crime, they rob them, they're violent, they block the streets, and they force their culture on them, and they're taking away Paris, London, all these places. You can see there's riots in London for a month already. They killed some girls there, I don't know exactly the story. This is their punishment. They came and killed the Jews that were in Europe. Hashem said, no problem, I'm going to give you something a lot better than the Jews that you killed. I'm going to send you the children of Ishmael. You will have a taste.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends the Bnei Ishmael that are not from the four Galuyot to fight Edom's fight for us, because we can't fight that fight because we're not worthy spiritually of that. Which country had the most open arms for the wonderful Syrian refugees? Now they see how wonderful it is a year later. That destroyed their economy, their infrastructure, their social welfare, and everything else? Germany. Merkel went and took in 1.2 million of these people, and then said she's going to take in double that. Now she's already backing down because she realized that there's no country left. But wait, what happened? We're going to infiltrate Germany with Muslims, and that's going to bring Mashiach. Because the Ishmaelim are going to fight the Edomim. They're going to take battle one to another. You're fighting for us. You are a slave who's doing the dirty work for us. You're cleaning up our mess with Edom, so we should be able to have Mashiach. That's all you're doing. And for that we say kudos and thank you.
And Edom was a nickname for, in the biblical term, is Esau, but Esav as we call it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
When it says Esav, it means cultural Esav. And those who identify with Esav, which means the West. Not the entire West will be wiped out, but most of the West will be, according to this prophecy. And they will be wiped out by a very low class of migrants. They will be the lowest possible class of people, and they will be the ones to destroy it. The destruction is going to be so thorough, and it'll happen from the most unlikely source. So he says, if you ever notice a point where there are these thieves and marauders that are just entering your country, and you'll be spacing out, you're just gonna, you'll welcome them in, and you'll know that they're bad people, but you'll, for whatever reason, let them in anyway.
Hashem turned the European to such fools that they blinded them, that they brought the cancer into their body. I mean, people today get cancer, nobody invites the cancer. Now there are 1.8 billion Muslims, they multiply in such a fast speed that they don't really need terrorism. I don't know why they're so anxious to terrorize the world and to make everyone miserable. I don't know what's the point. Just have another 30 years of patience. One more generation, you occupy the world without terrorism. You don't need to bomb, you don't need to kill anyone. Stay in your own mosque, Stay with your own corners, continue to grow. You occupy another street, and another street, and another block, and another house, and another building, and that's it. You're taking over the world. The Europeans don't have kids. In Italy, they don't even have 1 kid per family. Not even 1 kid, 0 point something. They're going in reverse. Another generation, there won't be no Italians. It's going to be all Arabs. French, same thing. British, same thing. Danish, Greeks, all these countries. 30 to 50 years, it's all going to be Arabs without terror.
At the end of days, you're going to need the iron of Esav, which represents Edom, which is the West, Europe, and the Americas, to get intermixed with Yishmael, which is basically Arabs and Muslims. How in the world was this ever going to happen if not for this refugee crisis?
Europe already accepted, past the 10 years, accepted more than 100 million refugees. I don't think that another 1.5 million refugees would make any difference for the Europeans.
It's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply a fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along. This is the fulfillment of the Chazal and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.
Amazing, epic, powerful. Oh, where'd my music go? I pressed the wrong button. I need that. I don't like that silence. That's better. Epic intro from the great See Through It All. Killer intro. Big show today. Going to be discussing the latest with Trump, meeting with the astronauts from NASA. We got some Dyer stuff, little Jesus junkie material. The Rabbis visit Alex Jones. Tons of stuff. Big show. Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. Only made possible thanks to you guys. Powerchat.live/KnowMoreNews. Let's hit the goal today. Substack link in the description below. Powerchat pinned to the top where we're streaming. Odysee, Rumble, Kick, X. Super excited about the show today. We're at a cool 75 beats per minute at the moment. Just two kings hanging out. I said yesterday on the show, Trump considers himself a king. And then, of course, the White House, official White House Twitter post, two kings. The two kings of Edom. People were already posting a meme yesterday, too, of Trump with the royal gown and scepter and hat. This is so funny. Look at this. Trump, watch how he cuts in front of the queen with the handshakes. Did he do this on purpose? He didn't want to get behind her. He goes first. She's just like in shock. Like, did you really just do that to the queen? How dare you? That's what she thought in her head. Trump has a new statue at Doral, ahead of PGA Tour's return to President's Golf Course. Look at this statue he's got up here. Golden idol, golden calf statue. Goes pretty hard, though. The gold, of course, they'd have gold statues for Trump. Is this a golf course that Trump owns? He's putting statues up of himself. Talk about God King mode, Emperor mode. So Antichrist, so narcissistic. So Trump. Trump meeting with Artemis astronauts, says he wants to go to space and that he's in real good shape and he wants to go to space.
But we're very proud of these people. They have unbelievable courage, unbelievable. A lot of other things too, by the way. To get in there, you have to be very smart. You have to do a lot of things physically good. So I would have had no trouble making it. I'm physically very, very good.
I would have had no trouble making it. I would have been the best astronaut. Everybody knows. I could have been the greatest astronaut. Could have been me, the first on the moon.
A little bit of a problem. I don't know, I'm sure.
Dude, he's such a comedian.
Is a president allowed
He's like a parody. He's like a SNL parody of himself.
to go up in one of these missions? We'll have to try it sometime. Is a president allowed to go up in one of these missions?
We can get working on that, Mr.
We'd have no problem, right?
We can launch more rockets. The opportunity.
We'll have to try it. Congratulations. Ask.
The Baal bank account or Baal room is financed by the Baal bank. Probably. Every day Trump has some one-liner that's making the news. Some joke, some troll. We can get to working on that, he says. Now here's him talking about the blockade. The Strait of Hormuz blockade. What's up with is this the moon? He has a golden moon. Of course he does. Should we make it look like a regular moon? No, make it gold. I like my moons gold. Everything's gold.
Regarding Iran, how long are you prepared to maintain the blockade? Could that go several more months?
Well, the blockade is genius, okay?
Genius was really a genius move by me. I'm quite the genius. Military genius, military war hero.
It is.
Prince of Peace.
Been 100% foolproof. It shows how good our Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to play games. We have the greatest military in the world, and I built much of it during my first term, and we've been building it since. And the greatest anywhere in the world, nobody even close. And you see that.
Dude, every time this guy talks, that's why he does so many press conferences and takes so many questions and podcasts and interviews. He loves tooting his own horn. He loves talking about it's the greatest, it's unbelievable, nobody's ever seen it. Everybody's saying it's totally the best. He's like the biggest insecure baby / narcissist imaginable. And look at where it's gotten him.
Whether it's Venezuela, and they have a good military in Venezuela, but it was over in one day. It was actually over in about 48 minutes. Iran, the same thing. I mean, militarily, we've wiped them out. They have no military left. It's all the Navy's at the bottom of the sea. The Air Force is never going to fly again. We've got an amazing military. Now they have to.
Da Vinci now. Thank you.
I just bought the Jesus Deception. Your show is awesome.
Thank you.
I love to read and listen to Dr. Carrier's books as well.
Yep.
Will the Jesus Deception be on Audible?
Yes, I'm working on that right now. One of my top priorities right now.
$5 on Rumble. Little Hat Challenge has begun.
Yeah, I think we have to start the I always say $5 shekel. 5 shekel small hat challenge in effect early, guys. No goal yesterday makes for an angry Miss No More News.
My uncle, that's all they have to do. Just say, we give up. We give up. But their economy is really in trouble. So it's a dead economy.
He's been like this since the 80s. Yeah, he's always been like this. Art of the deal.
How long are you prepared?
Art of the comeback. Now, they've indicted and now I believe arrested James Comey for his Instagram post 8647. He goes, "It's a mob term for killing people. You ever seen the movies?" Is there even a movie where the mob says they're going to 86 somebody?
Talking about how busy you were this morning. James Comey was in court. He self-surrendered. He's now been charged a second time. This time over a social media post with seashells that said 8647. Do you really think that he was endangering your life or threatening your life with that?
Well, if anybody knows anything about crime, they know 86. You know what 86? It's a mob term for kill 'em.
Nobody knows more about secret assassination mob terms than me. Let me tell you, folks. If anyone knows what 86 means, it's a mob term. It's a Kosher Nostra mob term. I know all about it, folks. I've worked with these people my whole life. I know what 86 means. It's Gematria Hebrew code for get rid of them.
You know? You ever see the movies? 86 'em. The mobster says to one of his wonderful associates, 86 'em. That means kill 'em. It's...
What movie? What movie says that? And just because somebody said that in a mobster movie, like trying to speak in code, does that mean it's the only thing? Doesn't just mean get rid of?
I think of it as a mob term. I don't know. People think of it as something having to do with disappearing, but the mob uses that term to say when they want to kill somebody, they say 86, the son of a gun. I'm trying to keep the language nice and clear. They don't use that term, son of a gun. They use another term. But that's a mob term for kill him. Yeah.
But do you really
Son of a gun's not a mob term?
how busy you were this morning? James Comey was in court. He self-surrendered. He's now in charge.
Do I have to chat GPT and find out what movie? Look, this is funny. Everybody's sharing this. Jack Posobiec also said 86-46, which would have been Biden, obviously. Is he going to get indicted and arrested for that? That's so funny. Hold on. What does it say about Godfather? He's not lying. Is that in Godfather? All right. ChatGPT, Grok it. What mob movie says 86 somebody? Oh, he's promising UFO files again. And we got Paulina Luna also Enoch maxing again in another interview. The UFO demon psyop Goislop.
Mr. President, I have two questions for you. First, on the topic of space, do you have an update on the UFO files and when we're going to be seeing those?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. For some reason, and I guess it's just a reason that's been in the minds of people for a long time, that is such, they want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe, so you're going to be reading about it.
Mr. President, I have two questions for you. First, on the topic of space.
See Paulina Luna again.
And I have
does she do anything besides shill for Book of Enoch and Fallen Angel Bible bullshit?
I think you've said in the past that you've seen yourself evidence of interdimensional beings.
Beings.
Aliens or?
So the interdimensional beings is what our witnesses will call these things. I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have.
For yourself,
Yo, thank you, buddy. Got to come on the show soon.
Madness. Wake up, Edom.
Wake up. It sounded like heathen. Wake up, Edom. Jesus is not going to come and save us. That's what they told you.
Observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion. Again, but there has been a declassification order from the president, and you will see as soon as that stuff comes up.
Right.
It's in Goodfellas.
The American public's good.
Okay, I looked it up. 86 is hold on. Goodfellas, the exact phrase 86 isn't prominently featured. Okay. In Sopranos, 86 pops up to get rid of.
Think for yourself, sent $5. Jesus isn't coming to save us from this madness. Wake up, Edom.
Yeah, he is, bro. What are you questioning my faith? What are you questioning my faith? You want to go?
Be super surprised when this comes out, or is it going to be a bit of a nothing burger?
He's not going to save you. He's going to
be a nothing burger. But, we're not going to tell the American people what to make of it. But I think, when, again, you saw my last...
She's on Only Christ. Yeah, sign up to her Only Christ.
hearing that
That's
I did
funny.
with the task force where there was some footage that was entered into the archive, and it's pretty shocking for people. I don't know much tech that can deflect a Hellfire missile. I don't know about you. But, I think
So
that's
what do
the
you
type of
think? footage
that you'll see.
So what do you, if you had to just make a decision now about whether there really were, I guess, aliens moving among us with their strange machines that have all sorts of powers, do you think that's plausible?
I don't call them aliens, and I don't know what these things are that they're using, right? But I think that there's stuff that we have witnessed as members of Congress, been briefed on that we cannot explain. And I will leave it at that because that's going to be coming out soon. And I think that the American people will have many of their questions answered. But, there's stuff declassified years ago out of the Pentagon. Multiple videos, Tic Tacs. I think Tucker Carlson family actually had shown one of the videos It looked like a pyramid that was flying around. And, people see it, they're like, yep, we knew it, and then they move on. So I don't think that, the earth is going to stop moving. But I think that for a lot of people that are paying attention, it's just confirmation of kind of something that we already suspected.
Bruh. Can't handle any more Enoch bullshit. Hegseth refuses to explain Trump's Dr. Jesus post. That should be good.
Well, I want you to know this is not a partisan thing. In fact...
Oh, it's the Jewish billionaire heiress. What's her name? Jacobs.
Okay, well, I want you to know this is not a partisan thing. In fact, many Democrats have had, many Republicans have had these same questions. Marjorie Taylor Greene said he's out of control and he's gone insane. Candace Owens said the 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, who you used to work with, Alex Jones, Stephanie Grisham, the list could go on. So
Alex Jones mentioned in Congress, cited in Congress by a Jewish congresswoman.
How do I explain to my constituents that while they are in harm's way, their commander-in-chief is posting these unhinged
Dyer
posts?
sent $5. I really trust Miss Lunatic to fill me in on demonic interdimensional entities. Lol. When is Nibiru getting here?
I saw in the chat somebody's like, talk about Nibiru today. I should mess with that troll and do a thumbnail about me doing something with Nibiru funny. Some Nibiru. That's added to the Lord now. Me with a telescope seeing Planet X thumbnail.
How did you explain to your constituents what happened on October 7th? Or what happened in Afghanistan? Or what happened with the debacle and the withdrawal in Afghanistan, where the troops were left? How did you explain that with Joe Biden's leadership?
Mr. Secretary,
how did you explain that to the Marines that didn't get medals? That we restored their medals because of that disaster?
Can you please tell me about that post, that AI post of Jesus that Trump did? Because he doesn't seem mentally well. Like, what do I tell my constituents? They're so offended by your post of you as Jesus. Come on.
Secretary, I'm asking about
Did you
what's
explain that to
happening
your
right now.
constituents when Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel and he had an AWOL
Okay, Mr.
Secretary of
Secretary,
Defense?
how
I don't
about
think you
this
did.
next post? How can I explain this next post to my constituents?
Print up.
I'm Jewish, so this doesn't really bother me, but my understanding...
Oh, that's so funny. How did that? It's just that part not clipped up. She's Jewish, doesn't really bother her, but they're like, bring in the poster. Cooked. How funny is that? Doesn't really bother her. Actually, I think she's Jewish. She thinks it's quite funny. I gotta love it. She's Jewish. She doesn't care, but she's gonna still use it as to take shots at Trump.
Understanding is that this is quite offensive to many Christians. So how do you explain this post?
Queen. Oh, dude, that's so epic. I can't believe I just saw this for the first time.
Mr. Secretary,
She's be offended on behalf of the Goyim. Hey, Goyim, look at what that guy did. He pretended to be your Moshiach.
Afghanistan.
About
Did you
what's
explain that to
happening
your
right now.
constituents when Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel and he had a...
Dude, that is so cool.
How about
think
this
you did.
next post? How can I explain this next post to my constituents?
How do I explain this?
Camera pan. C-SPAN on the payroll UIC.
Yeah, dude, this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen in Congress. How do I explain this to all my Christian constituents, huh? I don't really care, but LARPer.
I'm Jewish, so this doesn't really bother me, but my understanding is that this is quite offensive to many Christians. So how do you...
She doesn't care. She finds it kind of funny, actually, but she understands that some of these Goyim, these sheep Christian Goyim, don't take too kindly to it.
You explain this post.
I'm not here to explain posts. We have an incredible commander-in-chief who
Mr.
puts our
Secretary.
troops first. I'm here for a budget hearing about our troops.
This is
historic.
I got to clip just that part.
Mr. Secretary.
Our adversaries, and
Mr.
President
Secretary,
Trump is
please,
doing that
this
in
is my time.
world-class fashion.
This is
Young
about
lady
our
has
troops.
reclaimed her time, Mr. Secretary.
This is about our troops. This is about who is commanding our troops and if our troops can trust that they are being sent into harm's way under good strategy. The mental stability of our commander-in-chief is
Saved your
deeply
1911
important
sent
to our...
$10 on Rumble. Adam, you're a legend. Can't watch right now but hope my dono helps.
Thank you. It does. It does. If a few more of you that watch every day chipped in a 10 here and there, things would go a lot better.
To this country, it
wasn't
our
important to you
troops'
during Joe
lives at
Biden.
stake. I'll remind you that when there were concerns, Democrats came together, and he was not our nominee for president. So I encourage you to have the same courage that Democrats had, Mr. Secretary. You.
Dude, she brought a print up of the post of the Antichrist blasphemy post. And it says she don't really care because she's Jewish, but she hears the Goyim really are upset about it. That is the funniest fucking thing. We got to save that. We got to save that and clip just that part. That was great. Let's see. Are we maxing? 65. Cooler than when I started the show. Cool as a cucumber. Okay, Erica Kirk is dressing up. She is cosplaying as an army sniper? Or is she's LARPing like she's special ops? She's like, I'm going to talk about how everybody says I killed my husband by dressing up like a sniper. Dude, if my wife dressed like this, I would say, what the hell is wrong with you?
And this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this.
She looks like she's in like a rap group, a 90s rap group. NWA. She's in WGA, White Girls with Attitude.
Truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all.
Whoa!
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me.
I know what that's like, by the way. All these lying e-crusaders and schizos on the internet. I know what it's like to have people make up tons of ridiculous bullshit about you all the time. I know what it's like. I could only imagine going through that after having your husband's head blown off. And then everybody attacks you related to that. I can only imagine. Oh, she's addressing it. Oh, she ignores them. They go, why is she so scared and ignoring him? She addresses it. Oh, damage control much? Let her spurg, our Aryan goddess. Rhythm Nation. I'll look them up.
I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on.
I feel you, girl. Solidarity with Erica. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have a bunch of lying schizos grifting on attacking you all the time.
There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country.
Yeah, everybody's schizo. So true. Oh, this is so funny. Fuentes' case is dismissed for this lunatic leftist when he was being doxxed all over the place. Showed up at his house with her camera. And look at it, now we get the new Ring camera angle. Straight pepper sprayed and laid out like Nick's an O lineman in the NFL. Look at this. This is crazy.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here. Ann takes her phone. He storms off. Slams the door. Did you catch that? Yeah, this is what should happen to somebody that shows up at somebody's house after being doxxed on the internet, though. Deserved. I called it, too. I said, Nick's going to not be in trouble for this. I thought it was, at first, the ruling was he had to do, like, community service and anger management and write an apology or something. But now I'm hearing case dismissed. Is that a separate case or something? Attacking an autistic teenager. Yeah, she's Jewish. She's some, or at least part Jewish, some ultra lefty. Showing up at an influencer's house with your camera out to mess with them. Justified.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
I can watch. Dude, I can't believe Nick had like the, you know, when like a mother can lift lift her baby from under the car. He lifted this woman like he played football in high school or something. Look at this. Dude, that's at least the bench and the bar right there. I mean, she was off balance and right at the end of the step. Oh, dude, this is like the 300 meme when he kicks him into the pit. Somebody needs to AI. What is the line in 300 when he kicks him into the pit? He says something like, "Thou shalt not pass." Kick in the pit. Let's see. This is Sparta. He's like, "This is Groypers.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is America first, bitch." If he chest kicked her, that would have gone hard. Okay, that's good. Namesake, thank you.
On Rumble. The conspiracies are obviously, but I don't think Erica Kirk is immune from criticism fully. Her forgiving the shooter just made the conservative movement look more pathetic and weak.
No, I never said you can't criticize her, but all the ridiculous Candace Owen, truthster baiting, crazy allegations, like if you've got good proof she murdered her husband, then okay, that's one thing. But Candace doesn't. She's been wrong about everything. He has to look at his wife cucked. Bro, do you have a wife? ZOA President Mort Klein says Americans need to lose their free speech rights in response to the White House shooting.
We have a big problem with people.
Yesterday it was Mark Levin and Greenblatt. Today it's Zionist Organization of America. Every day there's some new Jew on the news calling to censor everybody.
We have a big problem with people on the left and even Democrats making outrageous statements against Trump, which inspires and essentially legitimizes harming Trump and his administration. They call Trump a war criminal. They said he's committing genocide in the Middle East. They say this is an unnecessary war, a racist, a rapist. They're going to impeach him. And listen to what Representative Jeffries said. Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the Senate, said this is an era of maximum warfare everywhere, all the time. He's promoting this type of
What are those weird noises he's making? He's going
action. And in New York City, our biggest city, Mamdani has refused to publicly condemn, to globalize the murder of Jews. There are constant protests screaming, globalize the murder of Jews. And when asked repeatedly, he refused to condemn it. So it is the rhetoric and the actions by people on the left, by people who hate Trump, that is inspiring these types of actions. And it has to stop. And we have to stop, condemn anyone who calls for terrorism or murder. Do you know, outside of this Washington Hilton, there were protest signs saying death to tyrants, death to all of them. We cannot allow such signs. The First Amendment's one thing, but this is inspiring murder and terrorism. That has to stop.
Sorry, hold on. Just finishing a tweet. A tweet to see through it all. Where are you, see through it all? Nobody's watching on Odysee. I told everybody to leave Odysee and go to Rumble or Kick. I think just Odysee ain't where it at. It's nice to... I gotta start a new YouTube.
$5 on Rumble. Also basically gave the insane leftists the impression that most conservative right-wing figures will just sit back and take getting beaten and even killed while they rely on Jesus to save them.
Yeah, it's totally legit to criticize her for, like, you know, things she's doing with TPUSA or, like, what she says. But, like, the accusing her of, like, being happy about her... The stuff about her husband is just, like, you know, below the belt. Inappropriate. Jewish girl says Israel over America first. Can anybody believe this?
And you're gonna edit.
Dude, how Aryan are the Jewish girls
you actually
these days?
Jewish? I am Jewish.
What do you think of America sending billions of dollars to Israel? Do you support Israel or America first?
Personally, because of my personal beliefs, I support Israel, but there's nothing you can say and you're gonna edit that.
Why would we edit it? You just said you support Israel.
I do.
Why do you...
When I've interviewed people, they say the same thing. You're going to edit this. You're going to edit it. It's like, no, I don't need to.
Rumble. Assuming you've seen this all over Twitter, Adam, red button or blue button?
I don't know what you mean. Are there new buttons on Twitter? You mean like red pill, green pill, or red pill, blue pill?
In this home we believe in evolution. Praise Geeskeech, affirm Nibiru and hate Rabbi Jeebus.
Yeah, and the moon landing. Don't forget the moon landing. That's funny. Hitler. Chad says, "Forgive me, I'm about to Yenta mix." I know, dude. Wow.
I grew up in the U.S. I'm Jewish and I support Israel, and I'm sorry to say that.
Okay, who would you support? Sorry to say, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Israel or the U.S.?
Dyed hair? I don't know.
No,
Either way.
no. You can't say both. It's either the U.S. or Israel. You can't have one. You can't have them at the same level.
I can have them at the same level because I'm not educated enough. When someone educates me, I can say it.
What do you think of Bibi Netanyahu?
Who?
I'm educated enough to say
Yeah.
my stance on this.
Are you educated on?
Perfect.
I'm educated on science.
Yet based?
I'm a kinesiology major, not a historical major.
So, like, you think Jews are God's chosen people?
I'm Jewish.
Is that a no? W. Hermes. And did you ask her to marry you, Hermes, after this one?
Are you actually Jewish?
Hermes was ready to risk it all for that interview. So check out Russell Brand. He posted this yesterday. He can't move away from Jesus. He's addicted. He can't put down the Jesus juice.
With him, at the level that I was a heroin addict, I've got to love Jesus. Like, the level I was a heroin addict was non-negotiable. I was not like, oh, maybe I had some heroin later. It's like, I'm having it. I gotta have the heroin, you know. And like now, with the Lord, it's like, I can't move away.
I'm going to send you the children of Ishmael.
Hold on. What is that coming from?
Sends the Bnei Ishmael that are not from the four Galuyot.
What is going on?
To fight Edom. Fight for us because we can't fight that fight because we're not worthy.
Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I can't find this. Okay, there it is. So I don't know why that randomly started playing. That was annoying. Okay. The Jesus juice. I'm addicted to Jesus. I can't put it down like the heroin needle I used to inject.
Having it. I gotta have the heroin, you know. And like now, with the Lord, it's like I can't move away.
The Lord.
I can't move away from Jesus. Like, it's funny enough, you know, I came to Christ somewhat through the great Bear Grylls. What a beautiful guy he is. I was talking to him today and he said, do you know the rule of 3? You know, we could do 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 hours without shelter from harsh conditions, 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 seconds without, he said something about without thought. And I figured what he must have meant is without being with him. At the level that I was a heroin addict, I've got to love Jesus. Like,
How many Christians are just like praying the gay away, or they're pieces of shit and done bad things, so they want to be forgiven for the guilt, they want to be washed in the blood, or they're just addicts. They're Abrahamics Anonymous. They're Jesus junkies. They're literally addicted to Jesus, and they have Christ brain. Their prefrontal cortex has given them a addiction to Jesus and to rational thought. And what's weird is that he posted this yesterday, but I searched, I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about Jesus junkies. I say that all the time. So I searched my Twitter for Jesus junkies, and I noticed I said this same thing about him, same clip from 2024. Where he said, at the level he was a heroin addict, he's got to love Jesus. I played it then. That's good. That's the good meme. Dude, it is an addiction. And when you challenge it, you challenge the cult, you kick the bee's nest, the beehive. You get all the cultists freaking out about you, blocking you, slandering you, coping, seething. Russell is the prime case of Christ brain neurology. Yeah. Okay, let's see this. Webben says that Paula White is a witch. Blaming witches. Like, she's a Christian, bro. She speaks in tongues? You mean like in the Bible, in Acts, like the apostles did?
You look at Paula White, the chief faith advisor to Donald Trump. You look at some of the clips of her like rolling on the ground, or waving a coat and trying to slay people in the spirit and I speaking in tongues. She's a witch. She's a witch. She's not.
So the apostles spoke in tongues in the Bible. Are they witches too? Yeah, such a tryhard, all these guys with their backgrounds. Give me two big bull horns. It's me grabbing the bull by the horns. It's a metaphor. Who gets that reference first? In the chat.
A Christian with some bad theology. She is a wolf. She's a false teacher. But even more than that, as a woman.
Oh yeah, you're the real Christian, bro. You're the real Christian with your alcohol and your cool bull horns, and been kicked out of all the churches, hated by normal Christians.
I think that it is actually technically accurate to say she's a false teacher in a general sense, but what particular kind of false prophet? She is a witch. She's a witch who casts spells.
A false prophet, says the guy that's the fringe, plays the heel on the internet. She's the White House Faith Council and one of the most influential Christians in the country or in the world. But she's a false teacher. I'm the real teacher. The based red-pilled NS anti-Semitic Jesus is the real teachings. She's a witch. No, dude, she's a Christian. Witches aren't real. She's just a Christian. Christianity's the problem.
A false prophet. She is a witch. She's a witch who casts spells. You look at Paula White.
Spells? So she's casting magical spells? Really? See, we can't have schizo brain opposing the schizo brains. This guy, she's casting spells. Like, dude, you think giants are real? She's Trump's handler sent by Satan, right? Nobody got the reference, huh? It's me grabbing the bull by the horns. It's a metaphor. I didn't see anybody in the chat get it. All right. Dyer segment. Dyer segment. See Through It All was watching Dyer, and he had one of his butt buddies on talking shit and doing some other rent-free. He's obsessed. Scared to debate. Everybody wants to see the debate. He'll debate every Joe Schmo and every idiot and every Muslim and any rando on Spaces or wherever. But can't refute what I'm saying. Running scared. Just falling back on his transcendental bullshit. So Dyer wants some smoke. His whole, See Through It All writes, his whole argument against paganism is that the Hebrews were a morally righteous people and the pagans were all degenerate homosexuals. You can't make this up. Roman religion and gods were all centered heterosexual marriage, fertility, family creation, pure Christ cuck cope. Okay, let's see the clip.
Paganism is not antithetical to gay stuff. So like, the pagans are all gays.
See, this is how Reddit tier, how Bible fundamentalist, how Jewish and kosher the talking points are. Oh, you pagans are gay. Oh, you're all gay. What? Oh, I got muted. No, I didn't get muted. What do you mean? That's weird. I can turn it on. I can turn it on and hear myself. I updated OBS. I heard myself. You're just like gay. Oh, what's your argument against Adam Green? Oh, they're just all gay. Yeah, there's no gay priest though. It's just all gay. Without Rabbi Jesus, like everybody would just be gay.
butt humping each other without Jesus. Without the king and the Jews, just all of us should just be butt humping each other. If I didn't believe in the Jewish fairy tales, I would just be like so super gay, bro. You too? Yeah, bro. We need to like pray the gay away. Dude, those pagans that don't worship the Jewish God, they just want to be able to sin and like do gay stuff. Right? Without Jesus, we all just be gay, right, guys?
Paganism is not antithetical to gay stuff. So, like, the pagans are all gays.
Hey, so I'm one of the pagans here, and I was wondering just, I'll try to be just...
Yeah, 33-year-old virgin Jesus with total blue balls that hung out with all dudes, 12 dudes. Totally not gay, bro.
Be respectful here, but I'm not really sure why you take the word of, the Jews that wrote the Bible over the word of all these other cultures that had their own religions.
Well, I think the
response to that would be...
The argument I make for for Christianity is from a theological perspective. I mean, from a philosophical perspective. So I start with theology.
Yeah, the gay liar Jay Dyer says pagans are all gay. That's like Reddit here and gay. Strong argument, bro.
I don't typically start with just because Jews wrote it down. So I mean, wouldn't that be a kind of a genetic fallacy too? Like because this group wrote a book, it's therefore false.
Well, you think any group that's not the Jews that wrote a book is false in worshiping demons, so is it?
No, because...
If it didn't come from the Jews, it's demonic. Is that a genetic fallacy?
Because we have pattern recognition, and we can see what the final stage of their behavior is like. It's like, Epstein Island.
Hey, by the way, what's the term? So I was talking to a...
Here, you guys like the thumbnail for today, by the way? You can't prove me wrong unless you agree with me. You can't say my religion is wrong or bad if you don't acknowledge that all objective truths come from the Jewish God that chose the Jews.
Taken to, and they said they had a particular epistemology. I can't remember what it was, but it came in virtue of this similar conversation.
Yeah, his name rhymes with gay liar, and he has a gay mustache. And I think he's dyeing his hair. His hair's looking awful dark in uniform there to me. I think he's dyeing his hair.
Dyer loves to mock Jews with an accent 1 minute, then wants to defend them when it's convenient.
Yeah, that was his response to trying to refute Professor Dave on evolution too. He just like pretended like he was Jewish. His buddies on the show here, I'm not sure who it is, but he calls me Rabbi Green. While these guys are worshiping a rabbi and worshiping the Jewish God, they're hopeless. That's how pathetic they are. Oh, you're gay, you're Jewish if you don't worship the Jewish God.
Because I'd asked, well, what if a Jew says 2 + 2 is 4? Is it wrong? And the guy was saying, yeah, because it comes from, and what makes it right is if it's from a white European. I was just curious, what is the term though that you guys use for that?
And we don't say it's wrong because it's Jewish. We say it's wrong because it's fake. That's why. That's not even that. That's a straw man in itself. Straw man fallacy. You don't even know basic logic. Philosophy 101. You don't even know basic logic.
You named it something epistemology.
He won't know.
I'm not familiar
He
with
doesn't know
any
that.
official term for that.
So would you say?
Argument
Yeah. Would you?
just going down is that like you have to choose who you trust before you even investigate the rest of.
Right. So yeah, I agree with you. That's why it comes back to philosophy. So would you say lying is wrong, morally speaking? On what basis?
Not always.
Is lying morally wrong, since that's the critique of supposed Old Testament Hebrew people.
Can you even say lying is wrong? It's not bad. Jews lying about the Bible isn't bad if God doesn't exist to say lying is bad. Have you thought about that? Oh, dude, he's so obnoxious.
I mean,
dude, if I didn't know, I would think this was a toupee. It's looking so toupee.
Follow what you're saying.
By what standard, morally speaking, do you objectively say that lying is wrong? Why is it wrong? Because that's your critique of why the Bible's wrong, because supposedly the ancient Hebrew peoples lied.
No, supposedly they lied. No, dude, they totally told the truth. The only people that were chosen by God and told the truth about God were the Jews, bro. Come on. Believe that, Rabbi.
Well, I think that really the only excuse to lie is if you're trying to trick your enemies.
Okay, so that's an ad hoc assertion. What's the standard by which we know that lying is wrong?
Easy. You lie, you lose respect and trust of your community, and it's not good for the community. You get ostracized if you get caught as untrustworthy liar. That's why. Easy. Bro's pushing 40 buying hair dye. I think he's older. I think he's like 45 or something. But that's definitely hair dye on the top.
Kind of just intuitive. I think.
Okay,
even
well,
the Bible
so
makes
it's not
sense.
actually wrong. So Jews are just intuiting their need to lie in the Bible. Pagans are intuiting their need to do butt stuff, right?
Butt stuff. Great, dude, it's like he's Owen Benjamin tier. Oh, just butt pumping? Gay wiener butt pumping. Have you thought about that?
Why is it bad for Jews to lie and make the Bible? Because they're using that lie to convince everybody in a fake history that people are dogmatically putting this fake history over reality and the age of the earth and evolution and Noah's Ark and all of the bullshit. Their lie was built into the lie of the Old Testament is that the Jews were chosen by God, and now half the world believes they're chosen by God and the advantage that gives them.
Why is that bad, though? Why is that bad?
So obnoxious.
It is specifically said that, pagan Germanics would execute homosexuals by drowning them in a bog, so I don't know where you're getting this.
Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with butt sex, and plenty of pagans argue for it.
And plenty of Christians argue for it too. You know how many new Reform Christians are pro-homosexuality, pro-LGBTQ? That doesn't mean, dude.
So basically, your rationale is that.
No, you're a moral subject.
To be a pagan too just means you don't believe in the Jewish God, really. Anything that doesn't believe in the Jewish God is just okay with butt stuff.
There is no objective standard that's intuitive. That's just arbitrary and asserted, and that's what I'm saying. How do you say that a person who intuits that butt magic is?
We don't know that butt sex is bad if we don't have a Jewish God to tell us that you can't lay with another man. How are we supposed to know that putting dicks in butts is bad if without the Jews to tell us so, that God said so?
That's the argument here. That's the level of argument. Talk about unserious. I don't know. Butt stuff is bad because it's not designed to have stuff go up there. It's because you'll get infections and bacteria and poop, and because it doesn't go towards the nature of being with a woman in a vagina and having children.
Right. That they're wrong. You can't say that they're wrong. So you have no basis to say that lying is wrong. It's just arbitrary.
Well, no, it's the conscience, and everyone can pick whether or not to actually follow it.
You're just asserting things. You're just asserting.
Yeah.
Either they become numb to it, or they.
I don't need to be told by some Jewish scripture that not to lay with another man. Normal men are very attracted and want to have sex with women. Normal people. That's the norm.
You're just asserting things. Why ought we? How do you know that everybody has the same? Maybe the Jewish conscience is different. Maybe the pagan, maybe butt magic is part of the right action of conscience.
Hey, maybe circumcision. How do you know circumcision is good, Jay Dyer?
Because my Jewish God said so. And now my heart and brain are circumcised.
On what basis are you saying it's universally wrong?
On the basis of of nature. Penises are clearly by nature designed for vaginas, not for butts. Butts are for pooping, Jay. Simple as that.
Turn up that techno music, bro. Let me put on my sunglasses and trim up my mustache.
I would have thought that would have been something anyone with common sense would.
So again, you're just appealing to things. No, this is how low.
It's also stated in the Bible that people have the law written on their hearts.
Yeah, but you don't believe the Bible. You believe the Bible's a bunch of lies. Why are you appealing to it? You don't even understand that I'm doing an internal critique of your subjectivist position. You can't appeal to the Bible. You don't believe it.
He shut him off. I see what that guy was making a good point. He's like, even you believe that the law is written on your hearts. So we know inherently, instinctually, that butts, we should stay away from butts. Butts are gross.
But
at least the anus.
Is not so much. Love the Jay Dyer clowning.
Hold on, I didn't see that. It was censored out. The guy was about to make a good point. He cuts him off and says, "Yo, I'm doing an internal critique." He was just doing an internal critique. See how he did that?
Bunch of lies. Why are you appealing to it? You don't even understand that I'm doing an internal critique of your.
You don't even understand, bro. That's his whole debate tactic. You don't even understand. You don't even understand. Watch,
Optics
you'll
Prime
see.
Sent $5 on Rumble. Christ brain is mental circumcision.
Yep. Brain circumcised.
For a subjectivist position, you can't appeal to the Bible. You don't believe it.
I used to, and I probably know it better than you do, frankly.
You want to bet? I mean, you can't even tell me why butt sex is wrong. You just said intuition, man.
It's the same con. Oh, it's intuition. What's the concept? Whenever it supports my position.
Do you believe in spirit or not? Like, are there things that are just like
Do you believe in spirits or not?
we read it and we choose whether or not to believe it because of logical arguments, or are there some things?
Yeah, we need a meme of Dyer and Jesus doing butt stuff.
You're using a
since
standard.
he's so obsessed with it.
You understand in a debate?
Oh, you're so dirty. You're so sinful. You better pray to me.
That if you use a standard that is arbitrary, the other person can do that too. So if you say
Miami
that it's
make
just doing
30
intuition,
sent
then that's
$5 on Rumble. Walking around like a goy all day, new fave line.
Rocks, smoking grass, walking around like a goy all day, hating on Hashem, mocking Hashem. I forgot. That reminds me. I got to go clip that up. That'll be funny. Make it seem like he's talking about me.
okay. Fine. Intuition then proves Christianity. It's the Christian morals that are correct.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the route you want to go, then there's not really a discussion to be had.
Yeah, well, that's because you can't.
How do you know butt sex is wrong? Well, try putting your dick in a butt, which I've never done and I think is disgusting, and pull it out and see how it smells. Does that smell is gross because nature made it that way. To warn us to stay away from that stinky, bacteria-ridden spot. And it's funny God would put the vagina right next to the butt, you know? Buttholes for pooping, Jay, yeah.
Actually argue the position. you just made a fool of yourself by arguing for relativism and then saying that Jews are wrong for supposedly lying in the Bible. But
to act like it's only Christian cultures that ever had a taboo on homosexuality too, also wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that because it's all just intuition and vibes, man. Corey, what's up? You notice how every one of the pagans, just like every previous we've done probably 5 pagan debates in the past. Every one of them just has the most ridiculous, like arbitrary moral relativism, subjectivism.
Oh, dude, they don't even have grounded epistemology in the Jewish God, dude. Oh, bro, they don't even have, they're just like moral relativists and they're not even grounded in my precept, transcendental Bible God stuff.
And so they claim that they're going to fight all the degeneracy of the West and that the Jews are promoting all the degeneracy. And then they turn around and have a relativistic, subjectivist ethic that doesn't say that booty sex or gay stuff is even wrong. What's up, man?
Dude, you pagans don't even say butt sex is wrong. Yeah, that's a really good faith argument, Jay. You seem like a real stand-up guy with a lot of integrity there.
Timothy, what's up?
I was just going to say one thing real quick about an important side note as well. If we have to do everything our ancestors did, our ancestors converted to Christianity, you dingus.
Oh, hot take, bro. Dude, they call in and just do the meme mantras. If we're going to be like our pagan ancestors, well, they all converted. I wonder if the pagans ever heard of that one before. Dude, this is pathetic. This is how stupid their fucking audience is. Oh, my God. Hey, Jay, they should just, like, convert like their ancestors, like the meme, bro. Dude, burn.
And then they turn around and have a relativistic, subjectivist ethic that doesn't say that booty sex or gay stuff is even wrong. What's up, man? Timothy, what's up?
I was just going to say one thing real quick about an important side note as well. If we have to do everything our ancestors did, our ancestors converted to Christianity, you dingus. So it doesn't really, it doesn't follow that it would end.
Dingus. Oh, my God. Dude, I cannot believe I'm listening to this.
Being, well, you got to be pagan. Your ancestors were pagans. Well, my ancestors were Christian, actually, too. So what's your point?
Yeah, and by the way, if they were so tough and badass, then why do they get so easily duped by a giant fraud religion?
They weren't duped. It was forced upon them, top down, by the Roman Empire. The Roman Emperor outlawed all the pagan religions and persecuted it ridiculously. That's why. And the Jews celebrate this, and then now you guys are celebrating. And that's what's so disgraceful about this. In fact, you know what? I'm listening to an audiobook right now, Bart Ehrman's new audiobook, or I think it's fairly new. It's actually pretty good so far. I did some screen recordings I'd kind of like to share with you guys. What is his new book called? Where are my screen recordings? Here we go. The new book is called The Triumph of Christianity.
That doesn't say. Oh, 39 seconds. Okay, listen to this. Oh, I forgot the recording messed up. It doesn't let me record with my phone. I think it has like it makes it all poppy. Anyway, the triumph of Christianity. It's good. He talks about how it conquered Rome and how, oh, dude, you just all guys converted. You just got to convert like your ancestor did, bro. Sunk fallacy. That is great. That is so. I can't believe the guy calls in and just repeats the meme back to him. Can you guys believe that? Unbelievable. Okay, here's the one where they mention me. Is See Through It All in the chat? Who is this that said this too? Is it his one his father friend, Father Ananias or something like that? Is that who this was? He's always a little seething bitch talking shit and has me blocked too. Also scared to debate.
Rabbi Adam Green always argues that
Rabbi Adam Green, you know, the guy that exposes rabbis all day and that doesn't worship Rabbi Jesus? Yeah, he's actually the rabbi. Meanwhile, Jay's saying they're spiritual Jews, they're circumcised, they're the true Israel. Orthodoxy is the continuation of Second Temple Judaism. That Rabbi Green, the guy that exposes all things Judaism, that's like, we're going to call a rabbi. Like, this is how pathetic these people are. They are literally coping, lying, seething, disgraceful idiots. Calling us rabbis. Oh, he doesn't believe in Rabbi Jesus, so he's like a rabbi. Meanwhile, they believe the Torah is real. They believe all their morals come from the God that chose the Jews, and they're calling us rabbis. And this is the best they got. Oh, gay, you're Jew, rabbi, Reddit tier. That's all they got. Oh, you're not grounded, moral relativism. That's all they got. And then he does some other cope. Oh, Rabbi Green, like, never says that he thinks the Jews of today are the Jews of the past. Like, he thinks they're exactly the same. Like, okay, straw man, not exactly, but for all intents and purposes, the same. Oh, the Jews aren't the Jews of the Bible? We've never heard that one before. Oh, my God.
Rabbi Adam Green always argues that, I mean, he equates modern Talmudic rabbinical Jews and the ethos.
Yeah, so do all the pagans.
They're identical to ancient Hebrews.
Identical. Guys, completely identical. Not even the slightest minuscule difference. Dude, they're the same. Oh, they developed more lore and commentaries and writings as the religion developed. Oh, they don't have their one building anymore, the temple, to do the animal sacrifices. Okay, minus those two things, everything else is the same. They try to create this false distinction to cope and act like it's no big deal that they're worshiping the Jewish religion. That's all it is.
Rabbi Greenberg doesn't even know that they're not the same Jews. He thinks the Old Testament based Jews are the same as the Talmudic rabbis today.
Owls Rakul sent $5. Here's my donation to combat the Dino deniers and vegan shark believers.
Thank you.
Reaper Self did a nice interview with Dr. David Scorbino.
Oh, is that up?
I think is a great introduction for newbies. I'll definitely be showing my friend at some point and your stuff.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same as they were 2,000 years ago. There's slight differences. What do you got to say about that, Rabbi Greenberg?
Dude, talk about delusional copes. That's one of the top 10 copes we hear all the time, too, by the way.
Oh, dude, the Old Testament Jews before Jesus were based, and we want to follow their religion, not like these new Jews that reject Jesus.
We see what you're trying to do here to create some big distinction where none exists. They're all Jews. So what? They developed their religion a little more over 2,000 years. That's to be expected. Still the same religion.
How would you know that? Specifically because of that, what you said, they put themselves in a state by rejecting the Messiah. Obviously, there's a fundamental change that happens to their religion.
Yeah,
it's
It's dude, to believe in a Messiah, to reject the Messiah is Messianic Judaism. It's still Messianic Judaism. Oh, it's not the same anymore because they rejected their Messiah, and the Messiah, Judaism comes after Christianity, and they're just a religion that's all about rejecting Messiah. Oh, bro, great copes.
But they don't care.
They don't know or care about that.
Well,
They don't care about they don't care that they say they're completely identical. They don't even care.
Dude, no, we don't care about that stupid cope. Irrelevant cope. And do we grant the religion evolved a little bit and is a little tiny bit different? Sure. Still Judaism, still Jewish, still Middle Eastern, still apocalyptic, messianic, Torah-based, prophecy-based Judaism.
Oh, but it's only bad because they don't believe in Jesus.
I don't care if they believe in Jesus. I reject all of their stupid fake prophecy, fairy tale bullshit. It's all fake and Jewish. Modern day Jews, old Jews, Christians, all Jewish.
It's been this way.
K-Rock, what's up?
Olivia, how you doing?
Good, what's on your mind?
Well, I heard you speaking to that guy, and you said that I personally am more of an atheist. I'm looking into paganism, so I'm not going to call myself a pagan. I'm not a Christian. But you said that
paganism,
that we need our morality from the Bible, right?
I said that I argue philosophically that the categories that we use to interpret the world and to have ethics, etc., epistemology.
Yeah, they're the spiritual Jews calling us rabbis because we don't believe in Rabbi Jesus. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
67, still cool as a cucumber. See? Not even Gay Liar. I'm sorry, Jay Dyer can get me hyped up. 67 beats per minute.
And so forth, or ultimately justified by the metaphysics and the deity of the Bible.
Well, for example, like circumcision, it's not something that's native to Europeans, yet it is native to Semites.
It's not native to Semites. It's not true. Semites come from Shem. Semites come from Shem. Shem was not circumcised.
Do you believe in like the Adamic race theory?
No. What does that have to do?
Dude, you know what he's saying. Jews circumcise. Who are the only people circumcising before Christianity, Jay? Jews? Okay. Well, circumcision's Jewish then. Got it?
What I said.
It's not just Semites. Oh, the Egyptians might have circumcised too, and like other people in the Levant region were circumcising.
Dude, whatever. His point is, it's European pagans weren't circumcising. That's the point.
The Adamic race theory? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, like, you know, we all come from Adam and Eve.
Yeah, I do believe that, sure. But I'm saying even if you...
Yeah, sure, I believe the Jewish story of Adam and Eve and think that there were vegan sharks and that lions only ate grass before the fall, yeah. You're not a serious person, though, if you don't believe in the Jewish God and Noah's Ark and Adam and Eve, bro.
You don't believe it. The Semitic tradition of what's in Genesis does not teach that it's native to Semitic peoples to circumcise. It was given to Abraham as a sign of the covenant, and it was a temporary thing that passed away.
Dude, the God you worship told Jews to temporarily chop off their kids' dicks.
Yeah, but like not anymore. Now we just circumcise our heart wieners. So it's just symbolic now.
Dude, your God is a foreskin munching God at one time.
Well, we don't really need that in Europe.
Dude, such a bad argument. Christianity says Gentiles don't need to circumcise. Bad argument.
Who's arguing for circumcision in Europe? I don't know what you're talking about.
What kind of Christians?
Who?
Christians.
No, they don't.
I mean, maybe some evangelical group. I don't know. But
You mean Pentecostals?
I mean, Orthodox Christianity taught 2,000 years ago that Jesus fulfilled circumcision when he became circumcised. Paul says that in Colossians 1 and 2.
All right.
But doesn't Paul also circumcise Titus? So what's the deal with that?
Since you're Orthodox, and you know a lot of, Greeks are, majority.
Timothy. What did I say? Titus? Right. Timothy.
Since Jesus celebrates.
Jesus was circumcised on the 8th day, but like that's based because then he died and we don't have to circumcise ours anymore because we're Gentiles and we're not supposed to circumcise anyway unless we're slaves.
Paul had Timothy circumcised to facilitate ministry among Jews.
Hanukkah, which at the time was a military celebration. Why would Greeks follow a deity that celebrates the death of their people?
Because the death of the Greeks at that time, if you read the book of Maccabees, was because they were degenerate pagans. So that was before they became Christian.
Oh, so you're on the Jews side? You're on the Maccabean side? Every Christian would be. Jesus celebrated Festival of Lights. What do they call it? Hanukkah? Those Greeks were a bunch of degenerates. That's why he's like for Judas Maccabeus, bro. He was based and had morals and was a total Chad Jew against those evil degenerate Greeks, bro.
So their ancestors are degenerate pagans.
Jews killing Greeks is based. Fuck pagans, dude.
And,
Yeah.
You know, like
All of our ancestors were. All of our ancestors were.
What?
All of our ancestors were degenerate pagans.
Dude, we were all like barbarian pagan heathens until like the Jews showed up and taught us morals, bro. Only the Jews had morals, and we were all a bunch of degenerate heathens, and we were worshiping demons, and now we gotta worship the Jewish God like good Noahides. Like, come on, bro, what are you, a rabbi? Come on, drink the magic blood, rabbi.
You genuinely believe that? We needed like a Jewish book to come in and save us, is what you're saying.
Well, again, you're equivocating on the fact that that would be a genetic fallacy. Because it's a Jewish book doesn't mean that it's necessarily false. How do you demonstrate that? So do you know what a genetic fallacy
It
is?
doesn't come from our people. We had morals
Do you even know what a genetic fallacy is, bro?
before. Like, for example, in Adelphic Maxims, we had 147 morals.
Yeah, but why am I supposed to follow the Adelphic maxims and not some other?
Notice how he wants to shy away. Oh, just because it's Jewish, it's bad, bro?
Random pagan thing. It's just arbitrary and subjective. Your whole ethic, if you're a pagan, is subjective and relative.
Well, you should follow it because it comes from your people. It's
That's a fallacy.
An ought, that begs the question.
Why ought I follow it just because it comes from my people? Can my people make mistakes or err?
No, of course, and you should correct it. But you
Okay,
should
well then on what?
Can Jews? Do Jews make up stories? Do Jews create stories for political reasons, Jay? No, they're really chosen. We can trust them. Their myths are the good myths. All the other myths are bad.
What basis? Then on what basis?
Another should. Why should we? You're
So awful.
what you believe. You're not giving us an argument that grounds any moral oughts. And you've said it repeatedly. Ought, should. You're just arbitrarily.
Yeah, in debate, this is just begging the question. You keep saying ought. Why ought we follow what my ancestors?
You should not believe subversive lies that are meant to enslave you. How about that? Hypothetically, say your people had philosophy, but another people had better philosophy. I don't necessarily see something wrong with incorporating some of their better philosophy or better science. In theory, that's not true. That would be genetic fallacy. But the point is that it's not just Jewish. It's also fake and meant to theologically conquer you and the pagan gods. That's why it's bad. Why is that bad? Why is that bad? You could do the same game to them. They're so obnoxious the way they do this.
Said when my ancestors were relativists and subjectivists.
What? I'm saying that you shouldn't follow a religion that comes from a tribe that views you as enemies.
The tribe that
Yes, there you go. Views you as enemies. You shouldn't follow the religion created by a group of people that wants to theologically conquer you. Wants to turn you into slaves. What's wrong with being a slave? A Christian would say that.
A tribe that views you as an enemy.
Well, the religion is fulfilled in Christianity. It's not rabbinic Judaism. So you're conflating two different things. So no, Christianity is the covenant for the entire world, is for all the nations. It doesn't view me as an enemy.
Well, in the book of Isaiah, if you read
Yeah.
it, clearly states the Gentiles are supposed to be essentially slaves to Israel.
It does. Were the Gentiles and the nations not the enemy to the Jews in the Old Testament? That's the context. Pretending like he doesn't understand this and obfuscating, of course.
Gentiles, when they convert to the church, which is the fulfillment of Israel. So you're not reading Isaiah with the entire lens.
We're not the enemies. We're saved. We're saved and grafted in. We're not the enemies. Yeah, you were the enemies, and now they think that you're saved when you're really enslaved. That's the point.
$5
Thank you, Jenna. He sucks.
Rabbi Adam.
I can't believe.
John Aritis sent $50.
John, thank you.
Missed some interviews. Would love to see Henrik and Primordial Chaos back on the show. Henrik is getting more based and started publicly attacking Christianity. Get it to the goal, Goyim. Don't be Jewish.
Thank you, John. You're the best. Yeah, I've been meaning to get Henrik back on. For sure. Primordial Chaos, I don't see much of him anymore. I feel like he's not online as much. Jay Dyer is obsessed with Adam Green. Is this from the same stream? Is he wearing the same outfit in the other clip?
But yeah, I don't think that.
So he's live streaming. He's on Google Trends. He's got his name up here, past 5 years, and he puts in my name. What would inspire him to do that? Was I like talked about earlier in the show? Was somebody telling him to debate me? And he's like, oh, look, I've got a higher Google trend. He's doing YouTube search too. Yeah, I got my big channel banned from YouTube for telling the truth about Judaism like Jay won't do. He promotes Judaism for Gentiles. I was exposing it. I got banned. Past 5 years, United States YouTube search. Like, yeah, dude, I got my channel banned on YouTube. In 2020, when my channel was banned, I was view mogging and had like double or triple the subscribers that Jay Dyer had. I got to open Odysee back up and see if see through it all who clipped this. First question, when was this? Second question, what was going on before this? Was he just like putting a bunch of different search terms in here? What made him want to put my name in here? I'm curious.
But yeah, I don't think that that those questions are ever asked by the evangelical mindset. But I'm glad that they're being forced.
And it's also weird. Why are we hearing him talk right now, but his mouth isn't moving?
To ask.
I'm so
now, because
confused.
it's really, as you know, these are the types of things that can really undo the country.
Yes.
Right. And it doesn't mean that if we
Revolver 357 and 2 cent $5 on Rumble. Most morals are explaining evolutionary forces. That's why different races, cultures have different morals. Different survival pressures equals different moral frameworks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, everybody, he says, oh, it's objective, it's not relative. Is that why so many different Christians believing in the same books have it's still relative? It's still them having to come together and decide. It still evolves over time. They act like it's just set in stone. No, it's open to interpretation. It's always changing depending on who's in power.
don't do Israeli foreign policy that we have to suddenly hate all Jews or hate people. Everything is always cast in a.
So one of the problems with kind of generic names like the name Adam Green, like that's going to pull up anybody with that name. So if you have like the name John Smith, like you.
So he did the search and Adam Green has way more searches than his. Is that why? And now he's coping. Yeah, it's not even me. There's a singer called Adam Green and some other, there's other Adam Greens out there. But look, yeah, the Adam Green is way higher than his. Dude, mogged by Adam Green in your own search. Embarrassing.
Anybody with that name. So if you have like the name John Smith, like you can't really gauge it, but you can look on YouTube and see.
Was this supposed to be some big W for you? Oh, dude, I'm so much more popular. Like they didn't ban your YouTube channel, and you have a kosher promoting Christian narrative. You get on all these platforms that would never dare offend their Christian audience and talk to me. So it's like comparing apples and oranges. You shill for the #1 Jewish religion in the last 2,000 years that I expose. Very different. You preach to the choir. I trigger the cultist of the #1 religion in the world.
Like massive
Gallo Dance sent $50. Adam Green is the greatest
Adam
threat
Green.
to Jay Dyer's
People who were
grift.
asking about Adam Green.
Okay, people were asking about it. So this was your cope. I'm not going to debate him because like Google Trends says that I've got more hits on YouTube because he was banned on YouTube.
Massive trouncing of Adam Green for people who were asking about Adam Green.
Massive trouncing. That's his cope. Oh, also I forgot. Yeah, promoted by InfoWars, where I've been calling out InfoWars for the Zionist gatekeeping the Jesus shilling for years. He gets promoted endlessly and hosts the 4th hour of kosher disinfo wars. Yeah, he debates black Hebrew Israelites, no names every day in spaces, nobodies on modern day debates or Crucible and stuff. I think it's pretty clear now that he's scared. It's funny. See, through it all, asked, Christianity is so intuitive, so intuitively true that is fraud. Jay Dyer was raised in he was raised a Zionist? How could we if this guy was an evangelical Zionist, how could we trust anything he has to say? If he had such a lack of discernment, he was gullible enough to be a Zionist. Well, he's still gullible enough to be an Orthodox.
At least. For most Bible, I was raised Southern Baptist, so I understand the mindset, and I can tell you that for many of the people in that milieu, it simply doesn't occur to them to think or question that way. They've never thought about what was Christianity like in the first 500,000 years of the church. What is the
Did he just say 500 to 1,000?
history of Christianity in the Middle East? For most Bible Belt, evangelical-minded people, as you would know from being at Liberty, I mean, it's just sort of a question they've never even entered.
He went to Liberty University, and now he's a pro-Russia sphere guy?
And when I was 18 or 19, I remember buying my first Bible that I bought on my own that wasn't given to me by a Sunday school or whatever, was a prophecy study Bible. I remember buying it at a Christian bookstore, and I read it. I thought, we're supposed to, just sort of default support modern nation state of Israel because it's all this biblical prophecy.
Dude, this guy was 20 years old buying John Hagee Zionist prophecy books. Christ's brain. If that's not indicative of the IQ we're working with here, he's 20 years old and is believing John Hagee prophecy books and believes in Noah's Ark. I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear this guy's an idiot.
Prophecy stuff. And, we saw Trump a week or two ago saying,
hold on, did he say John Hagee's book too?
That wasn't given to me by a Sunday school or whatever, was a prophecy study Bible. I remember buying it at a Christian bookstore, and I read it. I thought, we're supposed to, just sort of default support modern nation state of Israel because it's
so you're a gullible, brainwashed idiot still. Got it.
All this biblical prophecy stuff. And, we saw Trump a week or two ago saying,
bless those that bless Israel. I will bless those. We all have a duty. Everybody has to support Israel no matter what.
But that's all false, right? Because every one of the church fathers, 100% consistently across the board, all of those very people who put the Bible together, they were unanimous in their interpretation, like St. Paul in Galatians 6. The church is the spiritual Israel. So really it would be a kind of Judaizing move to go retrograde, to go back to the sort of Old Testament mindset and to go back to what you said about the persecution of Christianity and sort of stamping it out in those cities. People need to understand, which I didn't understand when I was an evangelical Zionist, that rabbinical Judaism actually pronounces curses on what they call the minim. The minim are the Christians, and this goes back to the 2nd, 3rd century when there was this fissure between Judaism at that time, which was still proto-rabbinic Judaism, and Christianity going their separate ways. And part of what defines rabbinic Judaism is actually their anti.
He's so boring. Yeah, I know.
So that's what the attitude actually is. And if we understand that,
just total Jewish propaganda all day
of Islam as a threat to the West. And I think that it is, as I've studied Islam in depthly the last 10 years or so, but they don't understand that it's the same idea, same ideology, perhaps even more vicious within the Talmudic and rabbinic teachings that really require serious practitioners of Judaism to use any means necessary really to get rid of Christianity.
Dude, yeah, that's why Ben Shapiro's trying to get rid of Christianity, and Shabbos Kestenbaum and Dennis Prager and Netanyahu. They're like trying to get rid of it. Dude, they're trying to get rid of Christianity. That's why the ultra-Zionist Trump is like reading the Bible at the White House and constantly promoting Christianity because they're trying to get rid of it.
Idiot! Oh, what a loser!
See through it all clipped up. Another one. Dyer on the Eucharist.
The blood of the chosen ones.
Dude, does this guy just sit around on Google Trends like looking up how much trending his name is?
Hey guys, hey chat, let's see how popular I am compared to other people. Does that sound like a good idea? Let's talk about how many big podcasts I get invited on because I promote Jewish mythologies.
No, it doesn't. It's not that at all. Because he's a descendant from Adam, so he has Adam's blood too. So, do you have a better pagan LARP argument than that?
Oh, pagan LARP. You need to LARP like Pharisees, bro, like my father at my church does. You need to LARP as spiritual Semites, bro, not as your own people.
Well, what else is it other than blood that we're drinking? His magical blood that we need inside of us in order to be.
It's the divine energies, partaking of the divine energies to participate.
It's not magical blood, bro. It's divine energies. Come on.
In uncreated life.
The uncreated life. So.
Dude, oh, that's what the Eucharist is?
Well, what else is it other than blood that we're drinking? His magical blood that we need inside of us in order to be.
It's the divine energies, partaking of the divine energies to participate in uncreated life.
That's what I told her after I finished on her.
It's the divine energies, bro. Why is butt stuff wrong when there's divine energies up my butt?
We need
inside
of us in order to be.
It's the divine energies. Partaking
That's
of the
his
divine
code.
energies to participate in uncreated life.
Participate in the uncreated life. Dude, is that what you call cum, bro?
The uncreated life. So Adam is uncreated? What do you mean?
No, I didn't say that. Jesus, as a divine person, is uncreated, and he deifies the human nature so that we partake.
Paul uses the same word for born as Jesus and for Adam. It means in Greek it's manufactured. So he's actually wrong there.
Dude, Jesus grafting into me is just like the divine energy of the uncreated life when we drink his magical Jew blood.
Say that Jesus, as a divine person, is uncreated, and he deifies the human nature so that we partake in his uncreated energies.
Yeah, magical blood, don't be ridiculous. It's divine energies and uncreated existence, bro.
So it's not really his blood then? Like, or does his blood just serve as an energy of the...
No.
Uncreated life, that's definitely code for cum.
Blood's not an energy. It's a mystical supper that's our noetic rational offering to God.
Noetic rational offering? Dude, are you just making stuff up now?
It's a mystical supper that's our
mystical supper. It's a mystical blood soup. Mystical Yom Kippur magic blood drink. Uncreated existence, dude.
Noetic rational offering to God that we partake.
A rational offering. By drinking the blood, we're offering our ration. Yeah, you are sacrificing your rationality by drinking magic Jew blood. Totally, bro.
Of his deified flesh.
Christian vampire cult. Yeah, it's a magic blood death cult. Anyway. Bruh. That deserves a bruh. Brant. Dude, this is even worse than I thought. No wonder See Through It All's been clipping so much. Dude, if it weren't for See Through It All, nobody would know how absolutely kosher and delusional people like Jay Dyer are. And sadly, he's even more honest than a lot of the e-crusaders on the internet. At least he'll admit Jesus is Jewish and Christianity is like Neo-Judaism. At least he admits that. He shares the same presuppositional transcendental argument as the rabbis.
That it is only.
And we're noticing.
Faith and
Thank you.
$50 haven't fact-checked, but Jonathan Kahn says the assassination attempt the other day happened in the final minutes of America Reads the Bible during the woman and the dragon part.
He always has something kooky to say.
The second reason is that it is only in the context of a single God that one could have a single unified code of morality. The linkage between religion and ethics presupposes a monotheistic religion.
See, you need to presuppose the one true God of the Jews, says the rabbi and Rabbi Dyer.
The preconditions of knowledge. These categories presuppose a specific worldview and God.
One God, the other is ethics, and I think the two are actually joined together. The second reason.
So the rabbis and Rabbi Dyer both agree that Christianity is Noahide laws for the Gentiles.
On Rumble. I first saw Dyer years ago when made by Jim Bob Wendortho and then spiraled on Owen about the Trinity. I appreciate getting to see what Dyer is up to these days via your stream. Lots of lols.
Yeah, I'm only kept up with it because See Through It All clips it up. I'm not watching him ever. Can't stand it. I know an obnoxious charlatan sophist when I see one. So, like rabbis, he shits on pagans. He promotes the one true God and morality coming from that Jewish God. He agrees with the rabbis that they're both Noahides. He agrees with the rabbis that Bible prophecy and covenants are real. What else do we got here?
Did for the non-Jewish nation was brought some key concepts in Torah, the idea of one.
Oh, it's a victory for Torah, but the Christians online say, oh, you pagans are Jews. Oh, the Jews promote paganism. Yeah, please. Please. They were the original anti-pagans. The whole main objective of Judaism is for the God of Israel to conquer the pagan world. No way. Check this out. Hold on. Who sent me this? Duncan Bates just did a KnowMoreNews versus Jay Dyer comparison worldwide the last 12 months. Look at this. Is this even real? This can't be real. It must be picking up some KnowMoreNews that isn't me or something. It's just picking up random news, I think. This isn't real. Anyway, we should post this just as an own, though. Doesn't matter if it's fake. Screenshot and post and say trend mogged. Google Trends mogged on it. Theologically conquer and subdue and have dominion over. Felted.
God, of reward and punishment, of sin and atonement, of Mashiach himself. These concepts got spread to the farthest corners of the earth, where people all over the place would have at least a general concept of what Mashiach will bring, so that when the real Mashiach comes, it won't be such a jump in ideology. Rabbi Yaakov Emden, a 16th century sage, also speaks the praise of what Christianity brought to the nations of the world. He said that it removed the idols from the nations and obligated them in the 7 commandments of Noah.
Oh, great! They're not idolatrous anymore. They follow the Noahide laws. Great. Which is what the Jerusalem Council says they were doing in Acts 15.
That they shouldn't behave like animals of the field, and instilled within them a basic moral compass.
We wouldn't have morals, our transcendental morals, without the Bible and the Jews, goy. Here it is from Forbidden One. Rabbi Jacob Emden in 1700 says, quote, "We should consider Christians and Muslims as instruments for the fulfillment of the prophecy that the knowledge of God will one day spread throughout the earth, whereas the Goyim before them worshipped idols, denied God's existence, and thus did not recognize God's power of retribution. The rise of Christianity and Islam served to spread among the nations to the furthest ends of the earth the knowledge that there is one God who rules the world, the God of the Jews, who rewards and punishes and reveals himself to man." There's what the rabbis actually say about Christianity. And it's true. They go, you believe the rabbis? You worship the God of Israel. You believe in their covenant. You're waiting for Jewish prophecy to unfold. Felted. Totally felted. There's another See Through It All mix. We're not ready for that, though. Let's do this. We're not done with Dyer yet. Let's see this.
You need to debate me. I will debate when they bring something of substance and stop acting like they know what they're talking about. I don't owe you a debate. I don't owe people debates. When you don't know, why would I debate people that don't know the literature or the material? Do you see how silly that is? It's like when Adam Green.
I got a book out. I don't see any Christians debunking what I'm saying in there. I see a whole lot of, I hear Reddit tier, rabbi, more transcendentals. That's all I ever hear. Where's that substance?
It's like when Adam Green says, you need to debate me. Adam Green has not demonstrated a basic knowledge of basic critical thinking skills in the debates that he's done. So why would I do a debate with a person who can't debate?
He can't think. He doesn't cave to my tag trap. He can't think. Good one. Good cope. Okay, that's another mix. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We're going to play some more. We're going to do a transcendental debunk too.
The nation of Israel, and it manifests in the New Testament as a fulfillment of all those promises, not just to be an earthly ruler or king, but to actually save humanity from himself and from his worship of the fallen angelic entities, the demons, the gods of the nations, which David says in the Psalms, the gods of the nations are devils, right? The Song of Moses.
Oh, the Jews told us that all of our myths are devils and demons and fallen angels. Well, that's not kosher and Jewish.
I also look at argumentation from like messianic prophecies and these kinds of things, which have actually been pretty strong in arguing against Muslims. I know that's not what we're here to talk about tonight, but I do think that they are good sort of attestations to the truthfulness of Christianity. If Christianity is true, we would expect to see things like, prophetic things that do objectively come true that we can go verify. So basically the transcendental argument and then, the reliability of prophetic predictions, I think, are the strongest.
Prophecy. They had prophecies. Somebody wrote a story and tried fulfilling prophecy and then trying to fulfill prophecy of the nations worshiping the Messiah, which was their prophecy and their goal and their agenda. And they had the motive to create Jesus and do that. And it happened, so he thinks it's real.
Claims for Christianity.
I see.
I'm not finding. I thought I had another clip of him coping about doing a debate. Oh, that's why I got 2 R's there. All right, well, I'm looking for that. We got more from See Through It All.
Somebody, why now for the last thing that I do with all of my guests, if you had to tell somebody why they should believe in God and why God is real, what would be your message to that person?
So I do a lot of debates with atheists. That's a great question. Just put in short, I would say that if God doesn't exist, then we don't have a basis for knowledge, logic, ethics, or reasoning at all. So if we have knowledge, reasoning, ethics, logic, all these kinds of things, the world where God exists, those things make sense. If God doesn't exist and we live in like
that's just the assertion.
Why isn't this universe? Then none of those things make any sense, and there's no reason to believe in those things, much less why anything is right and wrong. So that I think it's called the transcendental argument. That's, I think, the strongest argument for God's existence.
Now for the last thing that I do with.
It's an assertion to claim that you can't account for any of those transcendentals without God, let alone the Bible God. You don't know that they can't be accounted for any other way, naturally, through us. And then the stretch to say it's the Orthodox God only, even crazier.
And he says his argument was that God is the necessary precondition of knowledge claims. That's the first premise of his transcendental argument. And he says the way God grounds knowledge is through the argument, but the argument assumes God is the necessary precondition.
Yeah, exactly. He's already assuming it's circular. It's begging the question. Your conclusion is in the premise. You're saying you can't have these things without a God, and we have these things, thus God.
Correct.
So his argument is viciously circular. That is literally the definition.
Yeah, I believe in circular arguments.
What? Okay.
I believe in circular arguments at a paradigm level. So these kinds of arguments, they require.
Now wait. Now, to be fair, you accuse him of a circular argument and like it was a bad thing, and that is usually something that's said. Now, why would you say that's not, Jay?
That's why we brought this out. So if we're making arguments like this, where we're making distributive, attributive claims, it's wrong to be circular. However, at the paradigm level, it's impossible to not be circular. That's the point. I believe the transcendental argument is an argument about circularity.
In philosophy, that's called a tautology, which
no, it's not.
thing I
No, it's
mentioned
not.
earlier. That's literally
It's not. It's totally different.
Literally
A
what it
transcendental
is.
argument
But
is not a tautology.
literally.
A
Now wait.
transcendental argument is not a tautology.
Explain
That
why
is
it's not.
tautology,
Explain
dummy.
why it's not. Why is it not a tautology?
Tautology is just a restatement of the thing itself, right? Restating
No,
what
that
you
is-
just
that
said.
is
Yes,
not
it
what it
is.
is.
It's restating what you just said. That's
No,
not an
that's-
argument.
that's-
This is a
that's the definition
disjunctive,
on
which you
Google.
didn't know what that was.
What's a
That's an
transcendental?
argument.
What is?
You didn't even know that the cogito is an
What's a
argument.
tautology?
You like it's just a state of
Jay,
affairs.
Jay, what's a tautology?
It's just
Logic.
restating.
In logic, what is a tautology?
It's restating.
Nope, that's not what a tautology is in logic. What's a tautology?
It absolutely is if you reify and restate. Yes, it is.
Nope, that's literally not what it is in logic. It's a kind of formal argument. What is it?
But that's not
wrecked.
It does. That's irrelevant because it's not. I'm not making a tautological argument.
What's a tautology?
It's just something that states that it's true in all.
You don't even know, bro? That's philosophy 101.
So his argument is called the Cartesian circle. You can literally Google it. It's the definition of vicious circularity and doesn't work at all.
That's not a transcendental argument. That's a mischaracterization. It's not. It's not a. It's not a
argument
Cartesian
you
circle.
just made that God justifies knowledge through the.
It's a
transcendental
transcendental argument. You don't know what that is. It's not the same thing as a tautology or a Cartesian circle.
It's literally it is. You could just
No, it's
Google
not.
it.
All right, we're just gonna call
This
Tom.
is a different form
we
from
gotta-
a tautology.
we gotta call- we gotta
You
call
see this
Tom.
form. He doesn't know the form of argument.
So annoying. I remember watching that debate. That might have been the first time I saw a Jay Dyer video. And he was an insufferable
and we white identity
charlatan.
and the idea of worshiping your blood becomes a new idol. And we would say that's also demonic. White
So demonic to have ethnic pride in being European. It's demonic. You need to only
identity and the idea
your only identity is being a Jew slave, sheep, worshiping the king of the Jews. Got it.
of worshiping your blood becomes a new idol. And we would say that's also demonic. White identity and the
That's good. All right, let's go another one.
Existence, and so it's kind of like it's.
I want to make it extremely clear to the listeners. I'm not saying this is so silly you shouldn't practice religion. I'm saying there's value to religion, and it's a good question to ask. How do you know the stories happened? And you can. I think you can live with. I think you can be someone who practices religion or appreciates religion, but doesn't believe in the the Bible word for word. So really, my question is just how do you know that the Bible, like the stories of the Bible, actually happened?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question.
Yeah, it's a fair question. I tend to argue the transcendental argument for God's existence, and so it's kind of like it's a logical argument that's prior to logic at all, or the doing of logic, or any knowledge claims at all, because it deals with the preconditions of knowledge. So it's kind of like I would agree with you that we're not going to settle the issue of like what things are possible or not possible apart from what types of things we think are possible within our worldviews or our paradigm. So ultimately for me, it's kind of a worldview question where we end up saying, well, the only way that I know what's possible is based on some kind of metaphysical assumption from the outset. And in order to go about that, we end up having to do worldview or transcendental argumentation. So that's kind of debating things at a fundamental level. And the challenge is this, that if the Christian God does not exist, then knowledge, metaphysics, and ethics becomes impossible to justify or make sense of. So I usually flip this argument and say that the way that I know is that without that God existing, knowledge in terms of justified true belief wouldn't really even be possible. And so God becomes, for me, in my argument, the necessary grounding for the possibility of knowledge, logic, ethics at all. That's the transcendental argument, and I think it's the strongest one.
So again, let me ask the question: how do you know that the stories of the Bible actually happened?
Because of the transcendental argument. That's where I start from.
So and I don't know if I follow the argument, but I think what your argument is saying is like because of some things that we see in the world, like I don't know, like patterns or something, that therefore the Bible. I'm not following. Like, what's the argument?
So the form of the argument is X is a necessary condition of Y therefore X. The argument, in terms of how I explicate it, is that if God didn't exist, then there would be no way to have justified true belief. That is, a way to ground our knowledge in terms of epistemology. And so because we do have knowledge, or we appear to, exchange information, have conversations, and we use language and meaning and numbers and math and all that, then knowledge appears to exist. And so therefore, in order for knowledge to even be possible, requires some kind of ultimate absolute, some kind of ultimate principle, and namely that is the Christian God. So the Christian God does the work of grounding as a kind of, in theology is called divine conceptualism. So meaning, language, all these things are only possible, and it's in the sense of justifying their existence and their.
Jay, maybe I'm fucking stupid. I'm not understanding this at all, man.
Not beating the spiritual Jew allegations.
We're all Jews.
But spiritual Jews are Christians. Spiritual Jews are Christians. Spiritual Jews are Christians.
Dude, you guys are spiritual Jews, and your buddy's calling me a rabbi?
Spiritual Jews are Christians. Spiritual Jews are Christians.
Crazy. That's crazy work. Jay Dyer believes in vegan lions before the fall, before the Adam and Eve Jewish fairy tale story. Gallo Dance
sent $5. We need to diagnose the severity of Jay Dyer's Christ brain affliction.
I think he's got Christ griftosis. He's got a severe case of Christ griftosis. He's grifting on Christ. He likes being the apologist expert and author and podcaster, shilling for Jewish religions. I think that's what it is. That he's got a case of griftosis.
Makeup of our bodies to take in nutrients from meat, fats, and our guts. All of that is post-fall configuring, so to speak.
We're like, our bodies are like configured differently after the fall, and like sharks and all these predators that are just like killing machines, like they were totally different, and then God just like magically changed them. But like evolution's not true. That's a heresy, and that's Jewish.
Do they preach this?
No, but I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with whether it's true or false, because you can read Father Seraphim Rose's book Genesis, Creation, Early Man, and I mean I'm holding to the traditional view.
I'm appealing to the authority of Seraphim Rose and the church fathers, and if that's what they say, so like I turn off this little section of my brain and I just get in line. Like
prefrontal cortex shuts it down and says, yeah, no, evolution's fake, but there were vegan lions eating grass before the magic snake in the tree.
The good sheep, and I just trust the plan and trust these guys dressed up like Jewish wizards. Like they are the authority. They speak for the church. They're the true church, the true Jews. And I just shut off my brain and just believe whatever these wizards, these bearded wizards say about the Jewish scriptures, pretty much.
It makes me think all these guys are just lying, grifting frauds because they seem too smart to have this Christ brain and believe things so dumb. So things so obviously mythical and Jewish.
You believe that there was no predatory behavior between the animals? Like it didn't.
Correct. The Orthodox view is that the functioning of the natural world prior to the fall was much different than it is now. So it's a very metaphysically different world. When Eden.
It's metaphysically different. They're just 6,000 years ago, before Adam and Eve and the snake in the garden. Like all the animals just ate grass and they were vegans and they just played kumbaya together. Dude, imagine taking somebody seriously that thinks that there were no carnivores before the fall. Everybody was vegetarian. Just metaphysically went from herbivores to carnivores. Unbelievable. This is the one I was looking for. This is way back.
I see people mentioning Adam Green. What do you think about Adam Green, Jay Dyer?
I think that's a good
he's,
question.
Kind of a ridiculous figure. I don't think he's really worth too much debate.
He's just totally ridiculous. He doesn't believe in the magical Jewish books, and he doesn't believe in Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. He doesn't believe in vegan lions. He's just not serious. He doesn't drink the magical blood of the divine essence of the uncreated life. Doesn't believe in it.
Debate time. I mean, I know that he gets into the geopolitical stuff with, the last thing I heard was him talking about Kushner's Antichrist or something like that. I just think that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I don't even believe in Antichrist, bro. I'm just saying he's doing messianic stuff, man. Dude, you really believe in Antichrist? I don't. So, like, who's the real ridiculous one, bro?
I know that a lot of people want to see you versus him here.
He's been scared forever. Everybody's wanted to see it.
It's been brought up a lot. There's brought up a lot.
It's not like I don't even want to talk to the guy. I would prefer to never hear his voice again. But the point is that everybody you want debate Jay Dyer. He's scared of me. He doesn't want his grift to get disrupted. He can't debunk what I'm saying. That's the problem. How clear does it have to be?
A lot coming up into this show. I don't know what you think about that. We are going to have him debate somebody from the Godcast, Miles Poland, on, what is that? Gator, is it November 5th, the day after the Fuentes
November
Sticks
5th,
debate?
yes, the day after the Fuentes.
There's another one where he was on Tim Pool's show. Tim Pool cooked him recently, by the way, on this moral relativism debate.
But he was like, he's debated lesser people, and like, I just don't want to. It's like, all right, bro, be scared of the top guy exposing your religion. Go ahead, talk to everybody else, but the one with the book out that all you Christians are seething about.
Debate.
Yes, that's gonna be Bloodsports Week. In case you didn't know, it just so happened.
No, I want a content cook and like protect my grift.
On that proposal, I know a lot of people asked about it.
No, I'm not interested.
No, I don't think I'm interested in interacting with that. Agree.
Is there
No, dude, I don't want to interact. He's not serious.
3 biggest names in evolution: Darwin, Dawkins, and James Watson, all British. Also enjoy your copy of Secret Hitler. Should arrive soon.
Great, another book. Thank you. Secret Hitler. Wonder what that's about. No, seriously, thank you. I do appreciate the book. All right, what else do I have here? Before we get to... Oh, wow, we're almost on 2 hours.
Why would I...
God of Israel conquered the Goyim. Okay, let's hear Dyer say that.
If I believe in, quote, conspiracies, why would I accept the veracity of the New Testament and early Christianity? Why would I not assume that that's also like part of a vast conspiracy? That Christianity is a Jewish conspiracy. Some of the sort of pagan people have this idea. The Gentile nations will believe during this Messianic period in the God of Israel, right? So during the Messianic era, you're going to have large-scale conversion of Gentile nations converting and believing in the God of Israel. Well, guess what? That's happened. That's happened over the last 2,000 years, right? The time of the Messianic period being known by large-scale Gentile nations believing in this God. So the Messianic era is known by the fact that the nations are converting to this Messiah. In other words, Jesus came to reveal to us God the Father. That God the Father is the God of Israel. It shall come to pass that there will be a root of the seed of Jesse, that's David's father was Jesse. In him, the nations and the Gentiles will hope. I mean, who else is this? For 2,000 years, Gentiles have been hoping and trusting in the Messiah that came out of the seed of Israel, David. Declare his glorious things amongst the Gentiles and make his name exalted. Again, this has been happening. How else could God be calling all of these gross pagans his people? The glory of the Lord will be to in the islands of the sea. In the name of the Lord, the God of Israel, will be glorious to the ends of the earth. So in other words, that the whole ends of the earth will hear about the God of Israel.
All the Goyim will worship the Jewish God. No conspiracy there, bro. It's all totally real.
That's been happening, right? The idea that God would accept all of these evil pagan nations who hate us, Israelites, and are persecuting Jews.
Us.
It's just...
Thinks he's an Israelite.
That's impossible. That's crazy. The religion of Jesus, the message of Jesus about God the Father,
there it is,
the true God, the God of Israel, has been preached to the farthest nations. What Isaiah said has happened. Do you understand that?
Yeah, because of the Jesus deception, it happened. Because they made up this mythical figure, an artificially fulfilled prophecy, it happened. He says it's not a conspiracy and then confirms the conspiracy.
The nations have been converting to the God of Israel. It's blatant. It's right here. It's right in front of our noses.
Dude, total Yahweh victory based.
We know the end of the story.
The elite are going to lose, and they're going to lose because God is in charge. And we know the end of the story. We've been told, in the scriptures, what
God wins. The scripture said we win. In the end, we win. Yes.
What's going to happen. We know that the elite serving basically Satan, they're not going to win. We know that Christ has already pretty much won.
We already pretty much won, guys. So when we lose, we win. Trust the plan.
And so now we're just waiting for that final victory. And so I'm not worried about, the day-to-day. I think that we do have to get out there and fight.
Well, is that Christ has won? Not worried about the day-to-day. We already won. Trust the plan. He's hanging out with Ali Akbar, by the way.
We have to accept Christ, not the fake
Look at this crowd. Look at this kosher clown crowd. The clown show.
Christ, the real one that's inside of us. We have to accept
and act on it. Exactly. Yeah. The elite are going to lose, and they're going to lose.
Dude, we already won, guys. We don't even got to do anything. Just trust the plan. We know how the book ends. Jesus is going to come down in the clouds and totally save us.
Dude. Confirming that the Messiah comes from the Jews. Well, might as well just grant the Jews everything.
I read the story of Jacob and Esau. What is your understanding of God rewarding Jacob and his mother get Isaac blessing? I read a few interpretations. What do you think about this? Well, I do think Jacob represents Israel. So he gets the name and he's gets the blessing because I think there's something that, prompted God to choose the Jews to be the people from whom the messianic line would come. So the purpose of the nation.
Dude, he chose the Jews because the Messiah is meant to come from them. Imagine granting them that. Yeah, you were really chosen. And yeah, the Messiah is supposed to come from you and all the Goyim are supposed to worship him. Like, do people even hear this? How can you be a Christian crusader and hear this and not see the problem here?
Of Israel,
baffling.
To produce the Messiah. That's their purpose. And yeah, there's ancillary purposes in Deuteronomy that they would teach the nations and be a guide in the law and all that. But they really failed at that mission, but they did succeed in their ultimate mission, which was to produce the Messiah. So they are an image. Jacob is a kind of an image of Israel and the people of the Old Covenant, and both for the positives and for his flaws. So I think that's my initial thoughts on Jacob. Obviously, you can go a lot deeper. There's a lot of typology. There's a lot of symbolism in all of those Genesis stories. But off the top of my head, I would say that that's kind of the first point.
Anybody tired of Jay Dyer yet? I know I am. I'm trying to find.
Who was they though? We can't say.
He was on Tim Pool and asked about me, and also had a cop out, but I'm not seeing it. He says, the Messiah will come and worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. No, he doesn't say that.
Even Jews understand that not every aspect of the law was for all of the Gentiles. So Hebrew roots people and other would-be objectors don't even understand the Jewish view of the law. Like, how am I supposed to keep land laws? Am I supposed to keep the Jubilee laws? This is crazy. Obviously, the intention for this religion to be universal, which is an intention. The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. Okay, well, how could that happen if literally all aspects of the Mosaic law were intended for the entire world? Obviously, it's not, and Jews don't even believe that. That's what I'm trying to say. And ironically, what's the Jewish answer? All the Noahide laws. Well, isn't it interesting that in Acts 15, that's what the Christians already chose to do?
The pagan ancestors converting argument raises my cortisol. My Finnish ancestors never converted and fought against 3 crusades.
Yeah, they fought the North fought against it for like 1,000 years and dropped it a few hundred years after it was imposed on them through war and crusades. And they converted. Yeah, we're not maxing though. I thought I was gonna max way more, getting worked up. I'm still at 68. 68.
We were Jews, chose to do that in Acts 15. And I'm not equating.
Dude, the Jews wanted us to be Noahides. Well, isn't that crazy that like Acts 15 says we're Noahides?
Ironically, what's the Jewish answer? All the Noahide laws. Well, isn't it interesting that in Acts 15, that's what the Christians already chose to do? The apostles, we were Jews, chose to do that in Acts 15. And I'm not equating Acts 15 identically to the rabbinical idea of Noahide laws. You get my point, though. Anyway, so if we understand these things, we begin to see how, wait a minute, actually a lot of this is just totally refutes Islam, Rabbinic Judaism, weird Protestant deviations and sects.
I think one of the caveats they say is that, some of these laws are contingent upon there being a temple, so that's the reason they don't apply, because there isn't a temple, but you wait, once the temple comes back, you better get your goats ready because you're going to have to start doing some sacrifices.
Well, again, you have all of these prophecies like, among the nations, my name will be great, and my incense will be offered to my name among the Gentiles, right? Like the minor prophets. Those are clearly messianic prophecies that extend the altar and the incense and the priesthood outside of the limitations of physical Israel. How is that possible? Isaiah, in 2 or 3 places, mentions Gentile priests. How is that even possible? And so Bryson has actually missed the very point.
How is it possible? I don't know. Make up a religion like Christianity and sell it to the Gentiles like they did? That's how it's possible.
Of the coming of the Messiah, which is to bring the Melchizedekian priesthood, which the author of Hebrews says very clearly in chapter 7 is superior to the Aaronic priesthood. So Bryson is actually just a retard.
in the pro-Mosaic side, you had Jesus followed the law. You had the early apostles, the disciples, the first generation of Christians seemingly followed the Mosaic law. And so, I don't know, I mean, do you think that...
I think that the letter of Hebrews solved this issue. I think that within the book of Acts itself, Paul had to struggle to really convince people, even like Peter, that his position was the correct one. God had to send Peter 3 visions about the food laws and that the dietary laws were not applicable to Gentiles and that they were symbolic. And that's why throughout Paul's epistles, he's constantly having to stress this, whether it's Galatians, whether it's Hebrews, or whether it's his arguments with Peter. No, this is not something that's, quote, settled by the 4th century Latin church fathers.
Not settled by my fathers. Okay.
Perspective of there's a
almost done with the clips, and then we're gonna do a little bit from Professor Dave and his roast of con artist Jay Dyer, charlatan bullshit,
a growing
spewer
trend via the internet and YouTube of neo-paganism. So a lot of people are adopting the default perspective of, let's just return to some form of paganism. And one reason they do this is that they believe that Christianity is just a version of desert God. And so now there's this renewed attack on...
Is it not a version of Judaism in the desert God? It is.
Abrahamic religions.
Abrahamic. Why are you putting just like normal words in quotes? They're all the religions of Abraham. They all worship the God of Abraham. They're all rooted in the story and the covenant of Abraham. You don't put quotes. They are Abrahamic. They are messianic, apocalyptic, worshiping the desert God. Doing quotes doesn't do anything to refute it. Calling it Reddit doesn't do anything to refute it.
Judaism, Islam, Christianity, these are manifestations of a local tribal desert God. And now we need to, since that's the case, we need a God that's applicable to the Viking, barbarian, Caucasian people.
Based.
So we need to definitely hit on that. So maybe next time you come back, let's hit on those two topics. There's a growing trend via the internet.
That's YouTube. Right. That's right. That's what they're scared of. That's what they're scared of. Now he says messianic, the real messianic Judaism is actually Orthodox Christianity.
Which does.
Super based.
The real messianic Judaism is actually Orthodox Christianity. And that's the purpose of this documentary. It's called...
We're like the real Orthodox Judaism. Does your temple even do the temple liturgy? Do your priests even look like Pharisees?
Christian worship in the Old Testament.
Pagan
Everything
LARPer.
That the church does is literally crafted, we believe, by the apostles from the temple liturgy and the synagogue liturgy service. It's combined into an Orthodox Christian worship service, the divine liturgy. That's the pattern of worship that you see when you read Cyprian or Justin Martyr or Irenaeus or any of these church fathers when they discuss the pattern of worship and the liturgy. So everybody should, if you're interested in this question, watch that documentary. Actually, I think that the real Messianic Judaism is...
All right, please be the last one. One more. Back to tag.
Crucifixion of the Messianic prophecies. So utilizing this rabbinic line of argument, I just have 7, and I'm sure you probably have a lot more, just points in which Christ actually fulfills the Messianic prophecies of the Old Testament. So a few
the
of
Old
them
Testament.
Here.
Oh my God, nobody can write a story fulfilling prophecies doing midrash. It must be totally real. The Jews would never make up a story.
The first one is the Messiah's birth of a virgin. We can find this in Isaiah 7:14.
Ooh, wow.
Another one.
Ooh, imagine being impressed by that. Oh, dude, the Jews totally can predict the future because they're so chosen and holy and priests.
Bethlehem as the birthplace of Christ. Micah 5:2. Isaiah 53, the suffering servant. Obviously, Christ's resurrection and his suffering for the sins of humanity clearly fits that structure. Zechariah 9:9, the triumphal entry into Jerusalem, which again we see with Christ.
Dude, how smooth brain, how Bible brain do you have to be so impressed by this? Like, dude, mind blown. There's a story fulfilling things that they had prophecies for. Unbelievable. I believe you.
Being fulfilled is present in the Old Testament. Zechariah 11:12-13, the betrayal for 30 pieces of silver. So clearly referencing Judas's betrayal of Christ and the incarnate God. That's right.
Dude, how come these guys can't address the obvious debunk of this?
Some magical comic book superhero didn't walk the earth and fulfill hundreds of ancient Jewish prophecy predictions. Some Jews wrote a story fulfilling those prophecies that they were aware of. What's your response? No, Reddit tier? But gay sex? What are they going to say? What's their response to that? Oh, they died. They would never die for a lie. That'd be the quote, probably.
In Zechariah, Psalm 22:16, the piercing of the hands and the feet of the Messiah. Well, the crucifixion of Christ clearly fulfills that. And then the last one that I just had, just grabbing 7, was...
Dude, everything about Jesus fulfills some scripture or prophecy. And instead of just realizing they wrote a story and that was Midrash, it's a product of writing a fan fiction fulfilling prophecy, they're so gullible and retarded, they think like dupes that it all really happened. Man, the Goyim are stupid. What is wrong with these stupid Gentile sheep, slaves? I can't believe it.
I always wonder how dumb this Goyim sometimes can be.
Psalm 16:10, Isaiah 53:10 through 11 is the Messiah's resurrection. And so all these things together signify that Jesus Christ fulfills the prophecies of the Messiah in the Old Testament. And this idea that they can take this rabbinic line of thought and somehow then kind of play games with both the New and the Old Testament, it just doesn't line up, because if you're taking the New Testament at face value, some of these people are now non-believers, but clearly it's demonstrating that Christ fulfills all these prophecies that were present in the Old Testament.
Okay, let's do a little bit of Professor Dave's video dunking on Jay Dyer. It's got 2 months ago, 164,000 views. Let's watch a little bit of more of this.
Hey everyone, a couple months ago I did a reaction video where I made fun of some random creationism videos.
We're going to react to the reaction video of the reaction video of the reaction video.
Including one that I referred to as a cringy after-school special. One of the other ones was made by some jerk named Jay Dyer. I'd never heard of him, but in typical thin-skinned troll fashion, he threw a tantrum in response, thereby opening himself up for quite a lot more humiliation. Let's take a look. If you missed this reaction video, give it a watch at some point, since it was quite a rollicking good time. But either way, let's start with a very brief highlights reel for context.
Natural Order Paul, thank you.
Jews fulfill prophecy today, like when Simpsons predicted Trump's presidency. Thus The Simpsons is just as valid as the Bible.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, the character in Dune 3 fulfills prophecies from Dune 1. I guess it must be real and magical. No other explanation. Magical Jews. Either myth-making Jews or magical Jews. Those are your options. They go with magical. They give them magical powers.
It's important to be aware of some of the dumb shit he said in the video I reacted to, and the basic science I explained in response, because he's about to pretend none of that happened. Here are some snippets so you can get a sense of it.
You cannot empirically verify or demonstrate the billions of years that a chance universe would need to give rise to life or whatever, which I don't even think is, I think that's an absurd question to begin with, but...
You can't empirically demonstrate what? What the fuck are you talking about? You can't empirically demonstrate the age of the Earth? Because yes, you fucking can, which is how we know the age of the Earth.
Also, most of those mutations are just replications of the same gene, which don't do anything.
Right.
It doesn't add anything, or it sheds something. So it's like...
No fucking idea what you're talking about with genetics confirmed. Most mutations are not gene duplication. Most mutations are point mutations. Point mutations can have a very significant effect. Often they don't. Most of the time they don't. Gene duplication is comparatively a much rarer occurrence. But if you have gene duplication, then you have the opportunity for neofunctionalization. That second copy can accumulate many, many, many point mutations to code for a completely different protein that could have a completely different function.
And it started spinning, and then it kind of turned into a dust ball, and it kept spinning, and then it collected more dust, and then it hardened and crystallized into a giant perfect ball that is...
It didn't crystallize. It's called fucking gravity, you dumb piece of shit. All matter attracts all other matter by gravity.
What good is 1/8 of a PP? It's no good. Like, you got to have the PP and the testicles, right? So what good is 1/8 of a PP? Because there would be millions of
Dude, he's got no clue how evolution works at all.
years where the process.
There was never an eighth of a PP.
Right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. What good is 1/8 of a
That's
vagina?
right.
No good. Pointless.
Dude.
Wow. Wow.
It's really the first time that I've worn barefoot shoes and actually said these are perfect.
Love toe shoes. I don't have these, but I get a lot of ads for them.
Okay. Speechless? So, as you can see, this guy Jay is a moron. His friend in the corner is a moron.
Rim job, moron,
in weapons-grade denial
mogged.
and a few other infantile defense mechanisms on a moment-to-moment basis, in order to convince themselves that they aren't complete morons. One of the problems with delusional bottom-of-the-barrel morons like these is that they absolutely can't stand it when educated people remind them how fucking dumb they are, something I do quite a lot. So naturally, when Jay caught wind of my innocuous reaction video, he got big mad. So mad, in fact, that he decided to make a cute little response video. It's called Jay Dyer Responds to Atheist Professor Dave Debunking Creationism Video, and the thumbnail says, "Science Boy Refuted." Isn't that adorable? Look how hard he's stroking his chin here. I guess he gave his wee-wee a break in order to make this desperate damage control. Now, look, to be perfectly clear, I am well aware that it is way beneath me to be responding to this turd. But here's the thing. I just put out my Peter McCullough video a few days ago, which I worked very, very hard on for about 2 weeks, and it performed like shit. I don't know if my more politically relevant content is getting deliberately throttled or what the fuck is going on, but I've got mouths to feed. So for every one of those deep dives, which I readily acknowledge is the most important function my channel could possibly serve, I have to churn out a couple low-effort dunk fests like this one. I don't know how to rectify this. When I do a video on a legitimate target, if everyone could please share it all over the socials to help generate some momentum, that would be highly appreciated. If those videos were like this, or even
He didn't.
Let's get started.
People pointed out,
get
Professor
started.
Dave refuted you. I'm like, I'll bet you he didn't.
He did.
I played a clip of me and Jim Bob. Let's see if we can find it. Look at his face. It's like the most smug atheist face.
Yes, kiddo. Everyone who knows how pathetic you are must have a smug face. Definitely don't reflect on how smug you have to be in order to reject entire fields of science you don't understand because they hurt your feelings. By the way, you're laying on the retro wave aesthetic a little thick here. Neon border with 80s font and palm trees on top of the neon sign with a palm tree while wearing a Depeche Mode shirt? Are you cosplaying in anticipation of the Miami Vice reboot? Maybe take it down a notch or two.
Oh, but look, he's got chemical formula and equations all over his page. It must be pretty sciencey.
Yes,
Big
because
Swank
I
fella sent
studied.
$5 on Rumble. Nothing wrong with that 1/8 of a PP. That's average size, right, fellas? Right?
Yeah. Didn't you say 7/8? If you're missing an eighth, it won't work. Like, he thinks it evolved without the tip. That's why God had it. But the pre-fall penises had to be fixed by God. They were sinful. They were sinful. Those foreskins were sinful. God had to get rid of them.
And taught chemistry, I am able to produce
to solve evolution.
Educational content, such as this tutorial on organometallic catalysis that you don't stand a shot in hell at understanding. When your response to science that goes way over your head is to sarcastically pronounce, "It must be pretty sciencey," you know that you have no business speaking publicly.
Welcome to Professor David. This is like the peak era of smug atheist YouTube scientism.
Oh, dude, it's just like a atheist. Oh, so atheist. You're just like an ortho bro, grifter, e-crusader, bro. You're Bible tier, dude.
He's busting out the scientism accusations. Brainwashed idiots have nothing but projection. Also, is this really the era of people explaining to you how you're stupid? It seems like something that must have been consistently happening throughout your entire adulthood.
So here's the strength of my argument and the reason that I always beat these types of people.
I always win. I always win every debate ever with every science boy because, like, I didn't graduate high school chemistry. I got a C in high school chemistry, so like I always win every debate with every scientist believer.
And I think everybody in this audience already knows why. It's because, first of all, I went to college with these guys. I studied under these dudes. So my philosophy of science professor was one of these guys. He was like a
philosophy of science. He was one of these guys. He believed in science. He wasn't a based ortho Chad.
Hardcore, atheist scientism guy.
He didn't believe in evolution and dinosaur denial and flat earth and the pre-fall vegetarian world. He was just like a science dude.
First, it's adorable that he thinks he's ever beaten anybody at anything. I can't imagine this tool winning at Hungry Hungry Hippos, much less anything even remotely intellectual. Second, I find it pretty hard to believe that he went to college at all, but if he did, he's basically just pretending that his introductory philosophy of science class that he certainly failed had a bad professor just because he was too stupid and lazy to absorb anything that was taught. His defense mechanism is to complain about scientism and crap his pants on YouTube for the rest of his life instead of admitting that he's too dumb to learn anything. But most importantly, pay attention to the dishonest framing. He's already whined about atheism like 5 times in the first minute of the video, in addition to putting it in the title. Who said I was an atheist? Where did he get that information? I don't mention it in the video. I happen to be one, but I'm a hardcore atheist for some reason. How does that work? I don't have a single video on my entire channel promoting atheism. In fact, I don't care about it at all. So where does hardcore come
because from? He labels you that to try to tell his audience, his flock of gullible sheep, that atheist bad. He doesn't believe in Hashem, so he's bad. He's a bad man. He's not one of us. He's Reddit. He's Fedora. That's why.
If I went to one...
He's trying to really emphasize the in-group, out-group to his little cult.
Yoga class, would I suddenly be a hardcore yoga fanatic? You see, he knows he's a science-illiterate moron with zero ability to refute any of the science I present, which is universally accepted by all educated people, religious or not. So before even beginning, he has to shift the framing from a discussion of science to desperately attacking atheism, because he thinks that anyone who accepts science must be an atheist. That's how fucking dumb this guy is.
Even though he was a rabid scientism proponent, he actually encouraged everybody to understand philosophy of science. And people like, I've never watched Professor Day, but I'm assuming that he would not care about philosophy of science.
Never watched my channel, huh? I call bullshit. You know exactly who I am, and you know that I've done quite a lot of work debunking creationists 100 times smarter.
Oh, look. Stephen Meyer, he has a video we'll have to watch because that guy's uber popular right now with all the MEGA right. Exposing the Discovery Institute, the charlatan, fake pseudoscientist, Christian apologist.
Than you. How else would you know that I'm an atheist? Once again, you wouldn't get it from this video. Dumb people are so bad at lying. Also, I took a philosophy of science course in college too, dumbass. I read Popper and Kuhn and Lakatos and all the other shit you pretended to understand in your class. I'm just able to appropriately contextualize it since I was also studying science and know how science works. That's why I don't pretend that some random essay from 100 years ago has the ability to uproot the entire field of evolutionary biology. You're a pseudo-intellectual douchebag who skimmed Kuhn's Structure of Scientific Revolutions and decided that any science that hurts your feelings must be wrong because paradigm shift blah blah blah. I've seen it 1,000 times. You're exactly like that idiot Formscapes that I humiliated, except even quite a bit dumber. That jerk can at least put together sentences that sound smart to dumb people. You can't even do that. You're a brain-dead philo bro who clings to random buzzwords like scientism to pretend that your brainwashing is superior to actual empirical knowledge. It isn't.
Because usually scientism, physics type people, Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? They don't care about philosophy, and they actually discourage people from looking into it or studying it precisely because philosophy asks the questions that are difficult for them.
And of course, this dork thinks Neil is the president of science, just like every other science denier. None of us care if people read up on philosophy of science, genius. You just cling to it because you think it gives you the ability to magically hand-wave away well-established science by regurgitating memorized phrases like a priori and the problem of induction. There is nothing more blatantly pseudo-intellectual that you could do.
You would think that since they have an interest in mathematics that they would be able to do more abstract thinking, but they can't. It's really weird.
Yes, I understand math and organic chemistry and other abstract things. That's how I am able to teach these subjects at a very high level. You, on the other hand, are physically incapable of abstract thought. Projection is a bitch.
But when it gets in the domain of metaphysics, like the good, or how do we justify a knowledge claim, these people are absolutely out to lunch. They completely fail.
That's funny. I can provide a justification for literally any scientific fact. I can explain to you what we know and how we know it. And I can do it first thing in the morning, way before my lunch break. Can you provide a justification for your rejection of scientific facts, or for all the dumb shit you believe? Because I know you can't. More projection.
And I would bet money that Professor Dave doesn't know basic fallacies, doesn't know basic.
That's what he said about me on Tim Pool. He doesn't even know basic fallacies. I'm telling you, he has these fallback copes. He throws out as red meat to his base, and they just go, Jay's so cool, they don't even know fallacies. Jay's so smart, he says Jesus is real.
Epistemic argumentation and the principles of justification either.
Let's go ads.
Oh, would you? Would you bet that I'm not an intellectually bankrupt loser like you who just shouts out the names of random logical fallacies when you can't refute basic science that proves
like
you
a
wrong?
flat earther?
You might as well be a flat earther.
And it's
Yep.
funny because these people think that they have cornered the market on logic and reasoning.
No, you got it cornered, Jay. No, Jay, you. Not in the Bible, not from Jesus, none of the church fathers. They could never discover the concrete proof that God exists, the Orthodox God exists. Only you, incorporating all these pagan philosophical ideas, can put it together. You haven't wrote a paper. You haven't had debates with any real philosophers with credentials on the topic. No, you just keep debating idiots. He takes L's too. The transcendental argument is the laughing stock amongst real philosophers. It only goes hard if you're a low IQ ortho bro.
Abstracted questions like, what is logic? What is reason? Where is it? How is it? These people are done.
Here's the dictionary definition of logic, and here's the dictionary definition of reason. Where are they? Certainly not in that empty noggin of yours. How are these definitions going to help you deny the entire edifice of scientific knowledge, dipshit? Are you going to get to the science at some point, or is this just you pontificating endlessly?
It's not digital information. It's just a sequence of nucleobases. That's it.
Oh, how does Professor Dave know that the information encoded in us is just a sequence of...
Thank you, Rochelle.
Is transcendental and grounded using a high resistance grounding system sent to me from God.
Transcent. Pretty gay. Transcendental. Good one.
Whatever. How does he know that it's not actually meaningful information? So I think he doesn't understand that the sort of smug, snickering, dismissing actual meaningful information, or telos, purpose.
How do I know? Because I understand 9th grade biology, you fucking tool. In transcription, you get an mRNA transcript from the sequence of nucleotides in the gene, and then each set of 3 bases in the mRNA transcript corresponds to a specific tRNA molecule and its associated amino acid. You didn't know that. You don't understand 9th grade level biology, and you have the balls to call me smug for knowing that, while you sit there and fart out the word telos like it makes you intelligent. The smugness and reality.
Like when he wrote 3 is debating the Trinity, and he wrote the number 3 on a piece of paper and held it up.
Off the charts.
Even in turn, I think Jim Bob was talking about DNA. That was an interview we did maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but I think Jim Bob's talking about DNA. But to snicker and sort of dismiss this with this just sort of, well, we all know that it's meaningless information.
No, it's not meaningless. The sequence of bases in the gene codes for a sequence of amino acids. That's it. You're pretending there's some magic God sauce pseudo information in there, and there isn't. Get an education.
They're always going like, oh, Darwinism is going.
Yeah, but you just did that. Like, you just delusionally snickered and did the very same thing that you're saying that
we do.
Hey, moron, you're the one snickering and dismissing basic science, so I get to snicker and dismiss your smug dismissal of science. If you don't like it, try actually engaging with what I say.
Oh my gosh, it's crashing and burning. Evolutionary biology is imploding. It's in crisis.
We weren't even talking about Ev Bio. We were talking about the grand narrative of the origins of life. So I doubt he's going to be very charitable.
You were not talking about the origin of life. You were talking about genetic information. You're so fucking dumb that you don't even know what you were talking about in the video or right now.
Science is in crisis. No, you're just morons. I'm sorry.
Well, that's interesting. So did he actually reply to anything other than just saying that DNA is meaningless? That's all he said and called us morons. So this is the standard scientism, smug atheism that's out there. And you'll notice, look at his smug face. And he's like, just...
Dude, how many times... Is that his whole argument? Smug atheism, smug atheist, Redditor. It's all he ever does. Goes real hard if you have Christ brain and a damaged prefrontal cortex.
Trying to outsmug what he thinks we are, right? So...
Hey, dumbass, you did not engage with what I said about the sequence of nucleotides being the code, and I didn't call DNA meaningless. You can't even quote me properly because you weren't even listening. You're just tuning out while I talk so that you can pause at random moments and smugly whine about how smug I am. Look at my smug face, he says. How about your smug face, both right here and in the picture in picture?
Yeah, smuggest face ever.
Power. The layers of projection here are getting so meta that it could be the plot of a Charlie Kaufman film. Say something about science, idiot.
All of their arguments are actually confidence games. And I say that because argumentation is about philosophy. It's not about peer-reviewed studies and who has more evidences. And I can pile up.
Evidence doesn't matter. It's just his philosophical tag bullshit. That's all that matters.
For my point, that's what normies think is intelligence. That's what dum-dums, that's what the ladies on whatever.
Dude, your audience are flat earthers and think dinosaurs are fake.
I will debate when they bring something of substance and stop acting like they know what they're talking about.
Podcasts like Not So Erudite think is smart, right? Piling up peer-reviewed papers that you get from ChatGPT, right?
Only stupid women who won't have sex with me think that referencing well-established science belongs in an argument about science. Doing actual scientific research and publishing it in journals is super gay. Obviously, all that matters is mental masturbation and throwing out random philosophical jargon. This loser is like if an inferiority complex became a person.
Because what you're referring to as information is just a sequence of bases. That's it. You have monomers that polymerize, and that's it. That's all there is to it.
So it just is what it is. That's not even a response. This is so low tier. I actually thought this guy might bring a little bit of response, a little bit of attempting to deal with what the actual argument is.
It's so funny. I remember watching this. Dave did he spoke for like half an hour or an hour or something on this topic. Dyer played 2 minutes and goes, "He doesn't even have a response. He didn't even answer it." It's like, dude, you just didn't watch it.
You don't have an argument. I do, and you're refusing to engage with it. The information in nucleic acids is the sequence of nucleotides. It is what it is because things indeed are what they are. Stop whining and respond to what I'm saying, numbnuts.
Because if information isn't meaningful, it's just what it is, then Dr. Dave's arguments aren't meaningful. And his words on his live stream are not meaningful and have no purpose or telos.
You're not
Snap.
purpose.
If DNA is just stupid, godless molecules, then Dr. Dave is a dumb butthead with no meaning or purpose. Sick argument, bro. You're allergic to good faith discussion. I didn't use the word meaningless. You keep using that word. Transcription and translation.
Reddit-tier arguments.
Talk about this.
No, I'm not going to debate your Reddit-tier arguments.
Talk about base pairing. Talk about codons. You can't do it because you don't know what this is. Cry about it.
You don't know what molecular biology is.
You don't know what anything is. Well, you don't know.
Holy shit, man, you really put me in my place there.
Yeah, great argument, bro.
Such a profound rebuttal to basic principles of molecular biology that I don't think I was able to absorb it all the first time. Let's get that again.
You don't know what anything is. Well, you don't know.
This is his cope for not knowing anything about science or evolution. Great rebuttal.
Okay, I got it this time. All of molecular biology is wrong because you made a
Just like they call us rabbis, now their cope for not knowing anything about science is Dave's a Jew, which he's not. Short-circuiting, yeah. Oh, dude, where was it? Oh. Somebody posted a clip where Jay was talking to somebody. The guy said my name, and he like short-circuited. Went, remember that? Why is that not coming up in the search? That was the best one.
Any cartoon voice. I've been teaching science incorrectly this entire time. Also, I could be wrong, but that started sounding pretty stereotypically Jewish at the end. Do you think this guy hates Jews? Does anyone want to tell him that I'm not?
No, he worships Jews.
Racism is bad.
Therefore, it is a code from a human mind.
What did I say? Short-circuited.
Professor Dave, does the code
glitch
come from the computer? Oh, is the code in the computer meaningful? Oh, or is it meaningless? Ugh.
Okay, it seems like this is the angle he's going to stick with for the rest of the video. And Dyer seems to be impressed by it since he thought it was worth $10 of his hard-earned money.
Dude, I'm going to be so mad if like the account that posted that got deleted or something. He glitched out. Somebody mentioned my name and he glitched out and started going into convulsions.
Can you believe this douchebag has even a single follower?
Do you know what are the odds of even 150 amino acids lining up perfectly to make a protein and have it?
What are the odds, dumbass? Go ahead and do the math for us. 150 amino acids lining up perfectly. What do you mean lining up perfectly? They polymerize. They spontaneously polymerize. You get 150 of them in a row. There you go. You got 150 of them in a row.
Oh, everything just happens. Oh, everything happens. It just is. It just is.
C-Dance 2.0 is now on.
See how bad he's getting wrecked? He's got nothing.
I'll take a robbery with a...
Yep, this is definitely all he's got. Whining about how I don't engage with anything while refusing to engage with anything and then doing this dumb voice whenever he doesn't understand a thing I said. Yes, some things just happen, dipshit. Chemical reactions just happen. They're happening all the time, all around you.
Onyx Rock sent $5. Funny that Jay doesn't do the rabbi performance when he reads the red letters. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Bible's not Jewish. He doesn't do the hand rubbing when he's reading Isaiah. He's like, "Oh, it's totally real prophecy and it predicted Jesus." Then it's good.
Acids just polymerize. I don't need to turn this into a James Tour debunk, but even if you're talking prebiotically, there are numerous mechanisms by which amino acids spontaneously polymerize. If 150 of them do that, then that's what you get. Your dumb fuck face doesn't even know what the word polymerize means or what an amino acid is, so that's why you're humiliating yourself like this.
Jim Bob made a passing comment that everything lining up to create life seems very implausible. I would argue that that's actually impossible.
No, he didn't say life, you disingenuous prick. He said a sequence of 150 amino acids, and I justifiably mocked him for that. See how all you can do is misrepresent literally everything?
We still need to inject information to tell it what to do. We don't even know where that... I mean, we know where that comes from.
What do you mean tell it what to do? You have a molecule and it does something, but...
Nothing has purpose. Oh, my arguments, they don't even have purpose. They just do. What's the problem, you stupid believers in God?
Okay, he's definitely giving it away with the oi at the end there. He's basically doing an impression of a Borscht Belt comedian and pretending that's an argument, while also pretending that I'm the one not refuting his imaginary arguments. Astounding. Yes, moron, molecules just do things. They spontaneously undergo chemical reactions. When two molecules collide and react, do they need your magic sky daddy to tell them what to do, or can you wrap your head around the idea that it is possible for things to happen in the universe?
By virtue of its structure, proteins can be...
They just do by virtue of what they are to do the thing that they do.
Functional by virtue of their structure. So you make a fuck ton of them and some of them are functional. That's it.
Everything just is. End of argument. You're retarded. So if he doesn't give an argument within the next few minutes, I'm going to know that he doesn't have any actual argument or substantive replies.
What are his arguments ever? God did it. Church father said this. That's his arguments
The
every
moron
time.
without an argument or any ability to provide a substantive reply to the very obvious thing he just heard me say. How the fuck is this a real person? What do proteins do and how do they do those things, dumbass? Name a protein. Tell me what it
Talk
does.
about being out of your league, trying to fight above your weight
And
class.
tell me how it does that. Then explain to me why your magic Sky Daddy is necessary to explain how it does what it does. Can't do it? That's what I thought.
Oh, these people that are conservative thinks that there's a conspiracy to censor. All right, I've had enough of this. This was like even worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yep, that's the end. Can you believe this douchebag posted this video? Is he seriously so dumb that he has no clue how pathetic he looks? To be clear, he started playing my video at the timestamp 1 hour and 20 seconds. He tapped out at 1 hour and 3 minutes 55 seconds. So he watched 3.5 minutes out of a half an hour of me dunking on him, responded to precisely nothing I said, spoke almost exclusively in a racist elderly Jew impression, and called it a day. Your average creationist, everyone. It's all well and good. We didn't need to suffer through another minute of that sad display. Jay Dyer is essentially the white Sabur Ahmad, and in two very specific ways. First, he's a loser coward who can only posture to his idiot followers, talking a big game about how awesome he is at debating people, and how those stupid scientism priests are so afraid to debate him.
I bet you Professor Dave wouldn't last 2 minutes in a debate.
Remember when Sabur pulled this shit and it blew up in his dumb apologist face? That sure was hilarious. Jay strikes me as the same type. The second way that Jay is just like Sabur is that he's a science-illiterate moron posturing as a scholar who thinks that vomiting up random philosophy vocabulary words is a substitute for learning high school level biology. All of these assholes are exactly the same. Ask them to explain gene expression to you at a 9th grade level and they just crumble.
I never used the word gene expression. That's epigenetics, by the way.
No,
By the way,
gene expression is epigenetics. Every time you try to talk about science, you get this gem of stupidity. They don't have the faintest comprehension of what a chemical reaction is, what proteins are made of, how they form, how embryonic development works, or anything else that demolishes their infantile worldview. The lies they were brainwashed with have to be real, so any facts that contradict them must themselves.
I'm so mad. I'm missing like the two best clips of him running scared. One was on Tim Pool, and the other one was somebody called into a show, and he short-circuited.
Be lies. A tragic.
Really irritated.
Speaking of tragic, what did Jay's brainwashed followers have to say about this complete nothing burger of a response? Go ahead and jot down a few guesses really quick before I show you the top comments. Think about what pathetic science-illiterate brainwashed bigoted MAGA morons would say in response to someone who shows them how brainwashed and stupid they are. I bet you can guess them all. Ready? Dave's office is an IKEA living room even though no it's not, so he must be wrong. Reality-denying moron pretends I didn't explain a bunch of science, and also he is gay, which is bad. Brainwashed idiot pretends he used to be an atheist. Loser transphobe very clearly references my flat earth debunking that he enjoys, but then gets angry when I debunk everything he believes. Racist piece of shit assigns Jewishness to me for no reason, and then pretends that would make me wrong. Science-illiterate moron whines about how basic science words confuse him and therefore don't actually mean anything. Delusional philo bro pretends just saying the word epistemology can make science wrong. Crybaby pretends I didn't humiliate James Tour harder than anyone has ever humiliated anyone in human history. There's a few dozen like this. Depressing, no? At any rate, we can wrap this up here. As I said earlier, I normally wouldn't resort to acknowledging a bug under my shoe, but it's good to get an easy one in here and there to lessen the burden on my workflow. I'm sure you all understand and probably don't mind too much, since a good laugh is sometimes as important as exposing charlatans. You will be seeing more of this. But don't worry, there are plenty of huge...
He did another follow-up video after that too, because I think he responded again. They got wrecked. They got wrecked by the legend Professor Dave, put in their place.
Actually, authentically Jewish, like all of his followers, and he was.
Yeah, we believe that. So what about it? But wait a minute. Jesus is a Hebrew, not a black dude. He's not from Africa. He's got to be of Hebrew descent. Okay.
What does God look like? I mean, Jesus.
We think that Jesus has to be presented as Hebrew in terms of the lineage that he had. So he's not a white dude. He's not an Asian dude. He's not a black dude. He's a Hebrew dude.
He's definitely not a black dude.
He's Hebrew. Jesus is the seed. That's Paul's argument in Galatians 3 and 4. And if that's true,
we're all Jews.
And I mean, spiritual Jews are Christians.
Spiritual Jews are Christians.
The Christian, the Orthodox Christian, is the true Jew in the sense that it's the faith of Abraham, not the biological descent.
The only way to be a, quote, real Jew is to be in Christ, Galatians 3.
Yeah. So is that what Orthodoxy's position would be?
That's Paul's position, correct.
When it comes to who is a Jew, well, it's the person who has faith in the ultimate Jew, Christ.
Romans 2, he's talking about Gentiles. He's saying he is a Jew who is one inwardly a Jew. And then in
that means a
Revelation
Christian.
And we see people like Adam Green, who I did a debate with, but constantly talking about Christians as Jew worshipers. And certainly we worship Jesus Christ, who was a Jewish man.
Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a black guy. Nothing against black guys. Jesus, even being a Jew, can still save anybody, right? So but he has to be a Hebrew to fulfill the messianic prophecies, right? So you can't be the Messiah and not be in the lineage of Abraham, David, etc. So Jesus has to be a Jew, has to be a Hebrew to fulfill the prophecies, right? In Isaiah 49 and 50, it says that when the Messiah comes, nations will begin to convert, kings and queens will worship the Jewish Messiah.
I think there's something that, prompted God to choose the Jews to be the people from whom the messianic line would come. So the purpose of the nation of Israel is to produce the Messiah. That's their purpose.
All right. I still got a few more things. I'm going to show them tomorrow instead. Jay Dyer gave me too much goyim fatigue. I can't keep going. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm so annoyed I cannot find that Tim Pool clip and the one where he short-circuited when my name was mentioned. That would have been perfect. But we overdosed on the gay liar today. I can't handle anymore. I got to wrap it up. Appreciate the support today, you guys. Like, share, subscribe, sign up to Substack, clip the show, share the links. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.